Yo, what up? It's your boy Miguel the Barber here at Popular Hair Studio, and y'all tuning in to Popular by Purpose. Today we got a special guest. Go ahead, Mo, tell them who we got.
What's up, man? It's Mo the Barber here. Today, I think every week, every episode, I'm always gonna say we got a special guest, because every time it's always gonna be somebody special. This is somebody I've known for a long time, since high school, probably like freshman year. Somebody I've seen to come up, I think right now is a very pivotal, very special time, just the perfect time to get him on his first podcast as well. And I know this is probably the highlight of his life right here, probably the highlight of his career. Owner.
That boy got highlights.
Yeah, that boy doing numbers. Owner of Cruz Control. I think we'll get to it, but has over 150 agents, all this stuff going on. And before all this stuff, before he was a celebrity security guard, all these things, he was Adrian Cruz. What's up, baby?
What's up, man?
Good, man?
I appreciate y'all boys having me. I'm stoked.
What's up,
really
man?
happy, man. What's going on with y'all boys?
Chillin', man. We want to go ahead and start off asking you a question, but before we get there, I need to ask you, how long has Mo been cutting your hair? I know y'all go way back, and how did y'all meet?
So I didn't meet Mo till probably he said freshman year. It's more like sophomore, junior year playing football. Like he was like the talk of the town at UHS. I didn't know why. It's just like everybody at UHS, University of High
University?
School. I did go to university. I was class of 13.
I did not go there.
Creed.
Yes. So like everybody
you didn't know that?
No, I didn't
Two
know
alumni
that.
right here.
Yeah. Go Cougars.
Cougars. But everybody knew who he was, and I didn't. And it wasn't until like we lined up, football. You were O-line too, weren't you? Yeah. So
We never lined up against each other.
Yeah.
Thank God.
I gave your boy Donovan a hairline fracture though when we played senior year.
Thanks. Shout out Donovan.
Yeah, but I just seen him, and then so many of my guys was getting cut by him, and I didn't really have like a good haircut person, barber growing up. Like my mom cut my hair till I was probably like 14. Give me like the little square and just like a 3 all around type shit. Like that's in the garage with like a trash bag, like real sick shit. And she had her own clippers and everything. And then I had seen what he was doing. Like he was doing the designs at the time. He did the spider web shit on him and Donovan. I was like, yo, he's good. And he was coming out of the garage. And I think during that time, bro, I could be wrong, but I think it was like $14 or $7 a cut. It was something like
$7, $5.
Bro, I
free.
remember people was paying you in quarters at one point.
Yeah, brisk and a pizza.
Yeah, so
From
like,
Caesars.
he was mad open to it. He didn't know who I was. He's probably, who's this fat in my chair? Because I was always heavy, and I don't know if you knew, in high school, bro, I was probably like 310 pounds. Very heavy set and all that.
What position you play?
O-line. I played center. I played center.
Yeah, wait, how did we meet? Do you remember the first time we locked eyes? Or I don't know.
Oh, I mean, so the first time, the first time we really like locked it up actually wasn't like till senior year when we played for district. And you were the last one at the line. We were all like dapping each other up, and he was making like a scene. This nigga like thought he was in a movie or something. He's on the sideline like all pissed and shit because we just
I cried my eyes out.
And then he's like dapping us all up, and I was like, yo, great game, and this and the third, and it just was just.
That's when we became real cool, man.
That's where he was at. But so he's been cutting me ever since, bro. Since the garage, I have so many memories in there, man. I could go on for days. Probably one of my most memorable ones is when you parked the car in the garage and y'all were playing like Madden. They had the car in the garage. They had the Madden like a projector screen like on the garage door, and they're sitting in the car while playing Madden.
For what?
I don't even know how they set it up.
Like
but
for
they
what?
did.
Why did we used to play in the garage regularly, and then we're like, yo, let's move everything, put the car in.
Did the car have AC?
Yeah, it did.
So and then you guys are playing in the AC?
Nah, I don't know.
Nah, don't tell me y'all didn't have the. If I would turn the AC on,
of course the AC experience. I just seen it.
Yeah,
or something like that. But yeah, man, and it's just it's crazy because he's been cutting me for so long. When I did have hair, I don't have hair now. But
I actually mentioned when in episode 1 when I cut him bald, I was talking about this Adrian right here.
Yeah, so like I didn't even know what cut to tell him I wanted or needed anymore. Like I was so like I can't go to another bar and be like, yeah, now I can, I'm bald. But back then I couldn't be like, yeah, let me get a high fade at 3 and tape. Like I didn't know any of that. I was just like, yo, do whatever for like 12 years, and he always took care of me. So.
I actually want to bring this up real quick before we really get into this. When I became a barber, when it was my time to go into the barbershop, I was super nervous. I didn't know what was about to go down. I thought I was gonna lose all my people because I was finally going to $14 a haircut. And then, I know you remember this. I called him the day or maybe 2 days before that I became an actual barber in a barber shop. And he used to go to one of the barbers in the shop for a little bit. And I thought, you know, I had no confidence in myself becoming a barber. And I thought anybody, now that I'm becoming professional, that people in the garage were just gonna go to the guys they were already professional. If I'm gonna pay this much, I'm just gonna go to the guy that's been doing it longer, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I was super nervous, bro, and I called Adrian. I was like, what's up, man? Hey, I'm about to start working at the barbershop, da-da-da. And he was like, oh, awesome, man, congrats, da-da-da. And I was like, hey, man, I understand. Like, I don't know why I did this. I just literally thought, I had no confidence, bro, going into the barber game, I swear. And I called him, I was just like, yeah, bro, if you wanna go back to your boy, like, I get it. And he was like, why are you calling me right now to tell me that? He's like, why would I go to somebody else? And I was like, I don't know, you know, just if you want to go to this guy.
And he's like, I won't take it personal, like I promise. Like,
and he literally was like, bro. And he walked in that shop, walked past past that guy, just dapped me. I remember I was in the back.
I remember, and you know what's so dope, speaking on this, is growth. Because I remember when you started and you were like, you know, you were good, but you had a lot of growth left in you, and you just grinded. I always use Mo as an example. He grinded, and the same thing with him. Like, obviously, we're gonna get into all your backstory, all your jobs and careers. I just, when you see someone that's willing to consistently grow and work towards something, and then you see where they're at today, outside looking in, I'm like, yo, that's motivation for me. I don't need to see no one else. That's enough motivation for the rest of my life. I'm like, bro, like these guys go. Like they just know one speed and it's go. And I love that.
He was probably the only person in the garage I was cutting with a beard. Honestly.
That's crazy.
So remember when I walked in the game, beards, y'all used to clown me on beards.
Yeah, beards is tough.
I didn't know y'all were clowning. I knew they were clowning. I was in the back and I heard them talking shit about
how you
still get beards.
Really? I mean, bro, I didn't grow a beard until after high school. I hated it. I used to envy motherfuckers that would like grow a beard in high school. Like, man, you look like a grown ass man. I'm baby face, cheeked up. You know what I'm saying? And as soon as high school's over, I start growing a beard. But like now, you know, my beard is like my crown because I ain't got one up here. So like he always got to make sure. Matter of fact, I think I enjoyed it more when Mo was starting out because he gave me more TLC. Like he used to give me the hot towel. He had the machine with the thing where it just like vibrated on your face, pause. And I mean, that was the times, bro. I used to take like an hour on my cut.
Bro, I still do that.
No, you get me in and out like 30 minutes now. But that's because he knows what he's doing.
Listen, the first time I did a haircut in the barbershop, I was 17. A long time ago. I'm way older than you, a long time ago. And I was at Ground Zero, and I'm working at this shop, and this shop is hood, and there's 17 barbers in there, and everybody could cut hair. They're all Puerto Rican. And I'm sitting there, and I'm doing a blowout, bro, and I swear it took me an hour and a half. And you know how fast I cut.
Sweating.
Sweating. And it was someone I cut every day in the garage. And when it left, I still looked at it like, dang, like I suck. So we've all been there. Like, you know, you start somewhere and you just keep laying a domino until you can drop them more. And I think that's dope. And speaking about that, let's go ahead and get into your career. Let's start from the beginning. Let's start first job you've ever had in your life. I don't care if it was at 12 more lawns. Let's get all the way back there.
Damn, bro, I really can't remember which one of these two jobs was first, but I
bring them both up. Go ahead.
First one was shouts out to my boy Richard Fuentes, wherever you are, bro. He actually recruited me. So I don't know if you remember these times, bro. In Waterford Lakes, Regal Cinema, there used to be these stands to the side, and there'd be people dressed in all black, slacks, button-downs with a clipboard. And they used to be like, you'd have to stop people and be like, hey, we're showing previews to some movies that aren't released yet. We want feedback, and if you could just watch a quick little clip. So we had these weird 3 computers set up, and it was weird, bro, because we had a quota, and we had to get a certain demographic.
How old were you?
Like 17. It was a weird demographic, bro. Like you said, all right, find Hispanics between 30 and 40, or like find Caucasians. Like what? Yeah. Kids between this age. So like, man, this is funny. So y'all about to laugh right now. So doing this, like, I felt like that really helped build my people person skills, because you had to literally stop people and be like, hey, let me come show you something. Calling. Attention grab, get them to come over here, fill out their information. Bro, there were some times where it was super hard, especially if you work like a morning shift, because like the movie theater would open at like 12, but no one's really coming to see a movie. I mean, some people do families at like 2, 3 p.m, but like we
stop.
And I gotta get the popcorn. I know how hard it is to stop with a kid. Like, yeah, I ain't got time.
Bro, so what's funny is like, man, this is so bad. So there used to be some rough times, man. Like I wasn't gonna lose my job, so like it was too easy to finesse this. So like we would just like, me and like Richard and a couple other people, we would like fake first names and last names. I put John Doe. Some people that I met in elementary school that I remember their name, I just put first name, last name, their date of birth, create some crazy email. Back to the time when AOL was popping still. And I would just fill it out, and then I'd have to watch it all, and I would do that for like 10, 15 people for my quota I was supposed to hit. And there were times where I just didn't want to do the work where the people just were not responding well. So I would knock out all my work and I'd have like 3-4 hours left in my shift. So then I would just go to watch a movie. Because I'm already behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I just literally walked down the hall and I would just go watch any movie. Every week I was watching a new movie. So yeah, so anything that came out, man, it was done. So I did that. Did it for a little while. I was paying relatively well from what I recall back in the day. And then from there, I think the next job I had was I worked the service drive at Honda on Cimarron, I believe is what it was. Holler Honda is what it was. So like you'd pull up, I was putting the washer fluid, popping the hood, I was checking the battery life, I would do the alignment test. And I did that also for a short amount of time as well. But one of those two was definitely my first two gigs, for sure.
It's crazy hearing him say that to see. I'm just thinking about who he is today, you know what I'm saying? And thinking where he started, it's insane. Because I remember him there. I remember him getting a cut and he worked at these places, you know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say that it's like that job, the first job you had, I had a similar job doing newspapers. We'll get to it someday. But it's like sales is so important in life. I know we don't really learn that in school, but it's like without you, maybe you realize that you didn't. That was a sales job. You had I didn't know
it at the time.
You didn't, but now you do. You look back at it and it's like, that was a sales job. And it's like, look how far in life you are now and how important a sales job was. Because it established a personality. Speaking about personality and it being established, do you come from a household with two parents? What's your ethnicity? Were you born in this country? Give us a little bit about that backstory.
So I was born in Washington State, Seattle, which is why I'm a Seahawks fan. I didn't stay out there long. I was there till I was like 3 or 4. Then moved out here and grew up in Orlando. So I went to like Union Park Elementary. But I went to a magnet school, which is why I didn't know a lot of people in middle school because everyone was going to like Union Park 2 and Legacy and all this stuff. I went to a school called Arbor Ridge. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's a magnet school ducked off of Dean in a neighborhood.
No, I know exactly. Yeah.
So I was there from 1st through 8th. I was there. Yeah. So I went there. My parents, they were together for as long as I could remember, from as young as I was till maybe I was around 14, they separated. We actually lived in a house off of Dean and University behind the Publix. It was called Dean's Landing. I remember the address, 10073 Custer Circle. I grew up in that house, very small house, maybe like 1,700 square feet, 1,600 square feet. Me and my mom, my father. But my father was ill. My dad suffered from an illness called MS, multiple sclerosis. So at a very young age, I had to mature very quickly. I mean, I remember 12, 13 years old, I'm helping him out of bed, I'm doing his stretches. I had to drive for him probably earlier than I was supposed to because he had to do things. So for those who don't know, like there's multiple forms of MS, but my father's was crippling. So like, I don't really have much memory of my dad walking. From everything I can recall from as young as I was, it was him like in a walker. And then from there, it progressed to him being in a chair full time. We got him like a remote chair that he can move around in. But that didn't stop him. I mean, he was cooking, he was doing yard work. He'd fall out of his chair. There was a crazy story once. My dad fell in the pool with his chair. Yeah, but like he was always a jokester. Like he'd get hurt and stuff like that, but he never looked for sympathy or empathy. He'd always laugh it off, or he'd always be like, it's okay. Yeah, that was early on, bro. I had to do a lot for my dad. Sometimes I feel like I missed out. It's kind of hard to talk about sometimes because I never really had like a dad like to go throw a ball with or do this and the third. There was a lot that I missed out on. It was almost like I was the father because I was doing so much for him. But what he gave me was he was very stern with me. He taught me, honestly, I think a lot of what I owe today is because of him, because one thing he taught me that resonated with me and has stayed with me for life is he told me, I don't care if you're talking to a CEO or a janitor, you talk to that man or woman with the same respect. That's what he taught me. You shake his hand, you look him in his eyes, and you treat him like a human being. Status isn't everything. And then also they put me in Taekwondo when I was mad young. I don't know if you knew that. I did Taekwondo from when I was like 7 to like 12 or something like that, but it was always yes sir, yes ma'am. So growing up to this day, it's always yes sir, yes ma'am. My father, my mother, anybody, it's just a sign of respect. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that was like my early on, and then 14, went to University High School. I was in the GT program, magnet program. I was a dweeb, bro. I was a very, like, fat rolling backpack like type guy. No, I didn't have a rolling backpack, but I hung out with people that did.
You were square.
I was square. I was very square, bro. Very late bloomer. I was very sheltered by my mother for very long. She always like mad love. I didn't experience much very young. High school was what really like exposed me to a lot of different things.
Question,
Yeah.
not to interrupt you. So pretty much you grew up here, but then when you went to high school, you were pretty much a new kid. You didn't know all those football players that you met. You didn't know those guys.
Really. Nobody.
Oh, that's
no.
crazy.
Which was very scary for me because going to high school, bro, I was very like, what if I don't know where my classroom is? I don't know where the locker is. The school I went to, it was none of that, bro. It was very very small.
You're going to a new world.
My class was probably like 80 people, 60 people, if that maybe. It was a super small school. So yeah, I didn't know anybody, and being in a magnet program in GT, like there was a lot of AP classes from like freshman year. I'm taking like college level classes, but I hope people don't misinterpret what I'm about to say, but like personally, like school was never for me. Never. I can recall back like yesterday waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning and how much I dreaded it, hated it, mostly because I knew very early on a lot of that stuff I wasn't going to apply in life. Like we joke about it now that we're out of school. I was in school thinking that way.
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I going to use this for? What is this really going to help me for? And the only real subject I was very good with was math. I love numbers. I've taken thermodynamics, statics. I've taken every calculus. Like I'm very good at numbers. Everything else I hated. But math was my strong suit. And
I think it's incredible that you had a father figure in your house. Although it might have been like a very tough moment for you where you had to do so much, as a child, asking a child to, I have a kid, asking a child to do anything is impossible. I have a niece that's 12. She just turned 12 today. And in my mind, I'm thinking the 12-year-old to do, like, imagine when you were kids and we didn't have father figures.
I could never imagine. I don't
so
have
it's
that,
like,
yeah.
for the fact that you had a father figure that taught you something, because bro, I tell everybody this, man. If you have a kid, teach him respect before all things.
Oh,
Everything else will fall in place. I mean, you naturally were good at math. You did sales early on age. Like, what was coming in your life was gonna come regardless. But if you had no respect, you would have lost yourself. And I've always looked at you and I'm like, man, Adrian has so much going for him, but his personality is so humble. And I don't say that if someone sees you and doesn't know you, they see the Gucci, the jewelry, the teeth, the fresh beard, the person, they're like, oh, he got it. Whip. But they don't know the whip. They don't know he's humble. Like, he's one of those guys.
The most humble.
I went to work out with him. I said, I want to do a workout with you, right? He's like, come on. Like this guy, and this guy.
No. Don't just say, come on. Tell the story.
No. He said,
he was at the
come on.
barbershop crying for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was sore. But
you don't want to talk about that.
But it was one of those moments that it's like, I sometimes look back at that like, man, that dude really just didn't care. Was like, come on, let's go work out. Yeah. Like he's so humble, bro. And it's important to bring this back because I hope we reach a lot of young kids and young men mostly as our target audience. It's important to have respect, bro. Respect before all things. If you don't have respect, man, come on, these kids nowadays are cringe, bro. It's like, bro, that's just so tough, man.
And you're absolutely right,
but
like I said,
harder, man.
although it was rough and having to do that, like I don't regret any of that because I was still fortunate enough to have a father, to have somebody in the picture. There's a lot of people that don't have that. So like, although there was some hurdles and trials and tribulations along the way, I was still blessed and fortunate enough to have that figure.
Amen. That's a great point of view.
Yeah, I mean, the way you came up, bro, I always wondered where your dad was, stuff like that, and it's crazy because it seems like you grew up in a perfect home the way you are, bro. You're so humble, you're so yes sir, no sir till this day. Went to the mall with this guy yesterday and we know we're going to these fancy stores and stuff like that, but he's not treating anybody any different, you know what I'm saying? We're walking through and he's holding the door for people, and like, I've been around a lot of people with status, with money and all this stuff, and I've seen how they treat people, and I don't rock with those people, and then seeing this guy, you haven't changed one bit, bro. Not one bit. Like, when it comes to who you are, you haven't changed one bit, bro.
I appreciate that.
Seriously, bro. It's
amazing.
amazing.
It's really not too hard either, man. I feel like some people almost have to try to be that way. They feel like they reach a certain status and like they have to move that way. And that's so far from the truth.
So weird, right?
It's very strange.
Man.
It's very strange because, like, bro, there ain't no one person that I can think of and will I ever think of that's more important than the next.
Let's go ahead and I gotta ask you this question as well. Do you have any siblings?
I have an older half brother from my father's side. We're actually 17 years apart, so I'm 29, he's 46.
So you're an only child?
Yeah.
Yo, that's great to know because I got only one kid and I might be one and done. It's so much. It's not that I don't.
Leading by example for these only child.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm like,
I mean, but only child, they have a lot of bad rep though.
But not here. Like, look, it works out.
Hell no. But you've heard the stigma, bro. You've heard like only child.
I mean, hopefully this doesn't make you feel bad, but I definitely at times wish I had a sibling that I grew up with, that I could have that undeniable, breakable bond.
Yeah, that bro.
But then I feel like there's also some siblings that don't have that. So I'd be like trippy. It's like, man, if I had one, bro, I would protect that person with every last bit of me. Like I would want nothing but the best.
Exactly.
Just like I already want that for people.
Yeah.
Imagine if we're blood.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like, I mean, to each his own.
I think it makes it hard when you have siblings because it's like, at the end of the day, human nature is for you to think on your own. So it's like you're raised according to your friends and your friend group. And at the end of the day, my friends might not be my brother's friends or my sister's friends, vice versa, you know? So, like, come on, we all got friends. You know the way we all were raised in our own. We got some personalities without saying too much, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Our friends raised us, you know what I'm saying? Our friends raised us. So it's like, it's hard for you to guarantee that your siblings, like you said, they will be there for each other. But to say that they're going to be each other's friends, because family and friendship is two different things. And we tend to assimilate it. We tend to put it together all the time. Sometimes your family is blood. It's someone you will love and you will be there no matter what. But to say they're your friend, that's something you build over time with relationships, conversations, things you guys like together, sports, math. Like I had a lot of AP classes, gifted classes. I get your point of view. I moved from Connecticut. I went to university, high school. I'm in AP classes. My best friends were my friends in my AP classes. But I had to go out there and like, what up, act wild because I had to make friends. I had no friends moving here. So I'm hanging out with some people I shouldn't be hanging out with. I'm getting home. My mom works 4 jobs. So I get the concept, bro. Like you make friends in everywhere. So for me personally, only child, it is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying?
But and I'm glad you said that because it's crazy. I feel like a kid. Like you're talking like this, but it's like, in the position that I'm in, right, and being around people, I'm in the business of people. It's very easy to like get sidetracked or want to listen to everybody, and it's kind of hard to make your own conscious decision. But I've trained myself, and I learned where it's like I will listen, I will hear what you have to say, but ultimately, at the end of the day, the decision's going to be mine, no matter what I do, because this is my life, it's my decisions, my outcome. I want full control of that, and I refuse to have somebody else to have control over that. So, so it's good to listen, it's good to absorb.
That was great.
But you gotta, act on your own.
That's the equation of life. I tell everybody, I'm faith, he's faith. I tell everybody this, listen, you put God in your life. Life has a way of organizing itself, and God has a way of organizing your life. But in the equation, you have to make your own decisions. Because if you're not willing to make your own decisions and you let others fulfill your outcome, what happens? You start to blame other people. You start to complain. You start to make excuses where if you delete all that, listen, take it all in, but don't apply everything. Take it all in, plug it into where you want, and make your own outcome. Oh, you hit the nail on the coffin, bro. That's so tough, bro.
It's very tough.
So tough.
And something I say, it sounds so simple and so corny, but I tell myself all this time, I try to preach this to my girl. It sounds so simple, but I always tell people you can only control what you can control.
Thanks.
For example, when I went to Miami recently, like a few weeks ago, I went to the airport, I had gotten tatted all day, I went straight there, had my backpack, I'm ready to go, and I'm going through TSA, I get clear, I'm like, yo, the line's crazy, let me just skip it all, I'm on my jolly way, I'm having a blast. I get to like the scan shit, and they're putting my stuff through the scan, and I'm on the other end, and I'm over here like waiting, like, because they're looking at my bag. And first it was one TSA person, then it was 2 more TSA people. I'm standing there, this has never happened. Then an officer comes over, then 3 officers come over, then a dog comes over. I'm like, what is going on? And I'm like, guys, I'm assuming you guys are looking at my bag. Is everything okay? Like, you don't have to keep looking at the screen. Take my bag, look at whatever you need to. And like, do you know what's in this bag? And at first I was a little sarcastic. Well, yeah, like hygiene stuff, maybe a sock or 2 in my laptop. Like, what's the problem? And they're like, all right, well, there's a firearm in here. I left my strap in my bag.
That's happening.
Because I daily I carry it wherever I go. And I'm over here like, shoot. And I'm over here like, is everything gonna be okay? Like, this has never happened. Like, well, obviously you didn't know. You're being cordial about the situation, just follow us. They took me to a back room, and I'm over here. My flight's about to take off in like 30 minutes.
You said forget the flight.
I was just, no, but I was trying to make it.
Yeah, you're trying to make the
But
flight.
I'm being mad receptive, bro. I'm like, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. They're vibing with me, and it was all cordial. But unfortunately, it just took too long. I don't know where my strap is now. They said someone's supposed to call me. No one ever called me. I have to figure that out. But at the time I was so heated. I was like, man, I'm gonna miss my flight, what's going on? But ultimately this situation is out of my control. And this is what I'm circling back to. So I had to bring myself back down to earth. I'm like, you know what? If I complain, it's not gonna get me on this plane any faster. So I just took it for what it was. When the time hit that the plane took off, I'm like, you know what? I missed my flight. It's not the end of the day. Turns out there was one that took off in another hour.
Nice.
They escorted me straight to the gate. Everything was cordial, gave me my paperwork, and I was on my way. So like I'm over here stressing, thinking it's the end of the world, when ultimately, like, one, there's way bigger problems out there. And two, I couldn't control it. So I'm just like, here's what the outcome is, and I'm just gonna go with what it is.
I just want to know, how'd you have the gun going there? Did you take the bright line or something like that, or did you drive there?
No, I was gonna fly from Orlando to Miami. So I had
Oh,
I was
you're going there. Okay.
I was going from Orlando.
So you got inked up in Orlando?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you got inked up down there.
No.
Okay.
Another good point of view is in that same situation is that like sometimes people get mad at other people for doing their job. It's like that's his job. Like that guy did. Like I'm sure that guy was on lunch break chilling, watching a video on Netflix and got a call. Hey, we got a code something. Guy got a gun.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
Real Housewives of whatever. He paused it and ran over there pissed off. You know what I mean? Like, then the people got jobs to do, bro. It's like us, we cut hair and someone comes in here and you're like, look, I just gotta get through the haircut. Like, I love you. I just gotta get through the cut. Like, you know what I mean? And I assume you obviously have a great personality. You knew that, but
Yeah.
So I can see the situation going south. Like someone else would just be like, my flight. And
and then you're in jail.
No, and then maybe they hold you. Maybe they hold you for 3 more hours. You don't go to jail. You miss the other flight. You know what I'm
Now you gotta
saying?
stay overnight, get a hotel.
Yeah, that's right. Because like, and they're
home.
apologizing to me.
home.
They're like, "Yo, we're sorry this happened." I'm like, "Yo, it's not your fault. It's mine. Like, this had nothing to do with you. I was just doing your thing. Like, it is what it is. Just tell me what I need to do, and that's it."
Yeah, man. You know, we talked a lot about your dad. We talked a lot about your past, and I do want to get into the business, but we can't miss the pub days. We can't miss those days. But before that, we got to give your mom her flowers. We got to tell us about your mom. Tell us what she's been doing, like how she came up with your mom, since you pretty much had her. Your mom's
out to my mother. My mother is everything to me. She taught me how to be a man. She taught me both men role and women role. Like, there was no role too good for you. I had to clean, I had to cook, I had to be outside digging holes. You like, whatever the case may be, I had to do it. But my mother molded me into an incredible man. Cause like what my mother does is like, you don't see no man doing that. My mom's 62, bro. She's outside landscaping. She's a full-time worker. She takes care of her parents full-time. She's a nurse. She's a landscaper. She's a everything. And it's like, to see what that woman does, bro. And it's like, man, sometimes I feel like I'm tired, but that woman is truly tired. And that's why I work so hard. And believe it or not, by next year, my goal is to have her on payroll so she ain't gotta work no more.
Amen.
Let's go, man.
But yeah, man, my mom,
What's your ethnicity? Like, what are your parents from?
My mother's Colombian from Bogota, and my father is Cuban.
Both immigrants? Like first generation or?
Yeah. So my grandpa moved here. So my parents actually met in Jersey.
Nice.
Shout out Jersey. They went to a high school called Memorial High School, and most of my dad's side of my family is in Jersey, and then most of my mom's side is here. I have a couple family in Texas and Washington, but dad's side primarily Jersey. They met. They went to the same high school, but my father was older than my mother by almost like 8 or 9 years. And my father was in car sales when he was younger, and I don't know too much about it. I just know that he was a very good salesman. My mother says I remind her a lot of him as far as like how I talk about my business, how I treat my business, my mindset. And my mom was just a beautiful looker, long hair down to her lower back, 18, 19, and she was supposed to get fitted for like a dress, and the person that was designing it was my father's mother. And she came to her house and they were looking at dresses and such. And then my father walked in, suited up, briefcase. And he was like,
he said, hey, yo, mom, dude.
Yeah, and yeah, bro. And then, they were together ever since. Man.
That's awesome. I was also going to bring up, I'm a mama's boy, Mo's a mama's boy. We love our mamas, bro. I'm going to stick here for a little bit.
Talk about course.
I have a video of me at my wedding crying, like tears out. Like, I love my mom.
And it's funny, my mom's like 5'2". So like you see her at Tower and they're like, oh, that's your son?
We're talking about it yesterday. We're like, how did our moms make us? We're the biggest guys in the world. Like,
so she told me stories. She got stuck in the tub while she was pregnant with me. Like they had to call 911.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious because it's like, my brother's like 6'4", like 6'3". And my mom's small too. And I always been thinking about that. Like, I'm like, yo, y'all went through something having these kids. Man, it's different. But back to your mom, man. So, it's important, again, bring this back up, like, so her parents are from Colombia.
Yeah.
And a big shout out to immigrants that do, because I do think there's like a certain like stigma on immigrants. And I'm not getting into politics, but I think that personality you get from immigrants is crazy, because those people that move here with a purpose, they find a purpose and they say, hey, I'm gonna work and I'm gonna work and I'm gonna work. And I think a lot of people don't realize a lot of people come in here to find a better living, to change their lives, their kids' lives, and generational life. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to your mom for that, man, and shout out to your grandparents, bro, because that really is something that staples all the way over, bro.
Yeah, because I was raised primarily by my mother's side of the family, and they're old school Colombian. Like, the woman takes care of the home, takes care of the husband, and the husband does everything to take care of the wife, the responsibilities and stuff like that. So like, my grandmother's never worked a day in her life. My grandfather provided for her entire life. He used to be an escort for multiple Colombian presidents, motorcycle escort. And he did that, and then he moved to Jersey. He worked for a company called General Electric, and he was there. He was an electrician for like 25 some odd years. And then I don't know exactly how they came to Florida. I know they went to Miami for a little bit, but eventually found our way here in Orlando. But yeah, and it's crazy too, because my grandfather, I actually have his signature tatted on me. He's an incredible man as well. That man is 90. He was born in 1932, January 21st, 1932.
Wow, such a long time ago.
And man, he has a pacemaker. He's got holes. He looks like he went through war, but he taught me everything too, man. He was like, you know, outside, rough on me, that tough love, like you have to work for what you want. And yeah, my grandfather is an incredible man. I'm very blessed and fortunate to still have him.
How old are you?
29. I'll be
29.
30 in January.
So to put that in perspective, your grandfather would have been like 30, let's say, in the 1960s. Pre-segregation, racism was still abundant in this country. Nobody cared about you. Were Colombian, Puerto Rican, now you're Mexican to them. You're from another country. So it's like the fact that, just to put that in perspective, your grandpa would have been 30 at this point where you're at right now in your life, beginning his life, his transition into the U.S., which is crazy.
Yeah, man.
To put that in perspective. So shout out Grandpa too.
Shout out Grandpa, man.
But we need to get into what he's up to now. We need to get there.
Well, wait, but
well, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell him. Ask him.
No, tell him what?
No, because of his grandpa was an escort. I want to know about his security. You know.
But he don't know about security. I thought you meant his grandpa.
No, his security.
So I wanted to say
the pub days you said,
because
right?
I think you found insurance through security, isn't it?
Yeah.
You did, right?
Yeah.
So I want to go into what was the first opportunity to be in security? Because I know you did personal, I know you did club, I know you did pub.
I'll give you a long story short, or as short as I can. So my mother had a good friend that she still works with today in retail. She had a daughter. Her daughter was dating a gentleman by the name of Sam. Big boy, like 6'9", almost 400 pounds, like 380, big guy. And you know, I was always big, so they figured, what better job than security?
Was it Keys to the City then?
It was Keys to the City.
Okay, I remember them.
So they put me on. They were young. I was probably like 18. About 18. And they got me in the scene. I was working like every nightclub you could possibly imagine. Tier, Ono, when Ono was around. Native, I don't know if you remember Native. It was a Sunday party off of Church right next to Crest. Man, I worked every venue out there. And it's funny because some of the people I used to do security for back in the day that were just ballers, like I do business with now, or like I'm with now, the face card, they just remember me being in the scene. And I worked for Keys to the City for a while. While I was working for Keys to the City, I was working out at LA Fitness in Waterford. And I was just pumping out weight. I was strong as hell at the time, like an ox. And this gentleman comes up to me and he's like, yo, like, do you do security? And I'm like, yeah, I do. Why do you ask? He's like, oh, I just guessed by your build and this and that. He's like, listen, I need an extra guy if you're interested. I'm like, well, where do you work? Or what do you need it at? And he's like, Knight's Pub, right by UCF, College Bar.
Shout out Knight's Pub.
Shout out Knight's Pub. They say no more. Yeah, so I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot. And I pull up. I didn't know what to expect because like working for Keys to the City, you know, during that time, we were suited up.
Yeah.
Slacks, black
You going to work now in a tank
jacket, tie. I can show you a photo at the end of this, but like I have a nice photo. Yeah, it was really nice. And then I'm at a pub and I'm like sleeves ripped off, you know, wearing sweatpants, shorts, headband,
bandana on,
whatever. So it was crazy because like what I could get away with and what I had to do in the nightlife downtown versus what I could get away with and do at pub was completely different. Because at pub, I'm dealing with a bunch of underage, obnoxious drunks. A lot of people just looking for problems. And the cops that are outside, like they're on our side. Like they want us to be the first line of defense, take care of it, and then they just clean up after. So like, there's a lot of stuff that happened during the time I was there, but definitely met a lot of people. During that time, Mo was cutting me up like every week, every single week. So what would happen was I started working the day party on Fridays. They had a day party that was popping.
Was it at happy hour?
Happy hour.
Yeah.
Happy hour. And I'd get my cut, and then I'd go there, and then on Mondays, because I don't think you were cutting on Mondays.
Yeah, it was ladies' night.
It was ladies' night. Mondays was popping.
The best night of the week.
On a Monday.
On a Monday.
So he was over here like, yo, like, let me just pull up. Like, I don't even really want to get in. I just want to come chill with you.
He was the exit guy.
I was working the exit ramp. So
Yeah.
like, I controlled, so people would try to come back up the exit ramp, but I'd be like, no. Or like, I would take like bribes. Like, for example, there was like a block party, and there was a line around the building, and people would leave. I'd tell them, hey, no re-entry, and they would try to come back and be like, nah. And I'm like, yo, I'm not waiting in that line. It's like an hour. I'm like, all right, well, you can give me $20 right now. I'll let you through. And I made my cheese.
It was one exit too. It was the only way out.
I had to do things like that, bro, to make money because, man, they were paying us $55, $65 a night.
But you was walking out 100 sometimes.
Bro, to like get in brawls and stuff. So like me being a natural hustler, bro, I'm selling bands, I'm letting people in, like I'm doing what I gotta do to because $50, $60 a night for me to put my life on the line to bang out, like all that, it's not worth it. So he would pull up on me, we'd be working the exit ramp, and we would just have a blast. People would be like, yo, your haircut's horrible. He's like, yo, let me get you.
You have to go to him.
And then he'd use me as like he's like, you see that? I cut him up. And then, like, you just cut him up and stuff like that. But like, it was fun during the time, man. A lot of people, randoms that I met at pubs, now it worked with me.
Same thing for me is some of those people that we used to be like, hey man, I'm a barber, still go to me till this day. You know, I've met so many people at pub. I cut till, I'll show you all week this week. Yo, I met this guy at pub. I promise you I cut one person a week probably from those days, bro. And how long ago was that? 8 years ago?
Yeah.
7 years ago probably?
8 years.
Yeah, it's
8
crazy,
9 years ago.
That's so dope because it's like, we gotta go a little more into security, but quick stop right here. It's so cool because it's like, you were willing to go to his career, and he was so humble that he allowed you to come, because he could have, oh, you can't come here, bro.
Yeah, and I used to pull up with everybody too. It wasn't by myself.
Deep.
My boys used to be mad at me because I used to chill with him the whole time, and they're in there talking to girls, and I'm like,
but look,
I'm getting business right
your
here.
Career,
They're like, yo, come on, talk to girls. I'm like, I'm talking
like
this money.
Mindset. And you constantly, you're here, but you're at the same time flipping it. Like, I gotta get something back. So it's like that mindset, bro. It's so much easier said than done.
And I'm not doing nothing to put like anybody in harm. Like I'm just like, it's just like, all right, supply and demand. Go wait in line for an hour or pay the toll.
It got to the point where I was cutting all the security guards and stuff, so it didn't matter. I walked in any entrance, they knew me. You know what I'm saying?
So fast forward a little bit. So now I'm working Keystone City. I'm working pub. And being in Keystone City, like, you know, it's nightclub in Orlando. When celebrities, somebody pops out, where are they going? To the club. So like, I'm meeting people, I'm rubbing shoulders with people, I'm working the section for people who are spending money. People used to give me $100 to go walk their girl to the bathroom and back, which was more than I was making for the night. You know what I'm saying? So like, it was cool in that sense. Pub, I got rid of sooner than Keys, just because it was just getting bad, bro. Fights were very regular. It was a lot. It was a lot.
It's like the same way you could network yourself into a position of success, you can do the vice versa. And it's like, if you're constantly there in a fight, you rub the wrong shoulders, like, I don't want to deal with this guy.
And again, for
troublemaker,
little
you know?
to nothing, for as far as pay, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, man, there's got to be more out there. And then how it ended up progressing even further was I had a gentleman that I worked for Keystone City with, who I guess just met the right clientele. And he calls me up one day and he's like, yo, you trying to do some private security? I'm like, and me and him were cool. And he was misunderstood for some reason, but we were cool. And I was like, yeah, like, what are we talking about? He's like, all right, well, I got an artist in Rolling Loud. He didn't even know the name at the time. And he's just like, but they're popping. We have a VIP pass. We're going to be on stage. I ain't never done anything of this caliber before. He's like, yeah, come to my crib. We're going to get suited up. We'll get straps and get all of our stuff. And then we'll hit the road and then we'll go to Miami. I'm like, all right. So screw it.
And it's Rolling
thinking,
Loud.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like experience, right? And that's something that's very important to me now, is experiences. So I'm like, you know what? Today, so I'm doing some experience. This is when I had hair. I braided my hair. There's a clip on me like that went viral. I was on Hulu for a little snippet because who the artist was XXXTentacion. And I didn't know any better at the time. I'm just thinking like, who's this kid? This is when he's just getting up. This is when he just dropped that one track, like, look at me. Yeah, whatever. And so we went out there. Luckily, the kid was cool. There's some people that I'll progress and tell you most stories with that were artists that were not so cool. It was kind of like that ignorance that they had, or like that ego. But the kid was mad young, bro. He was probably like 17 at the time, 16 at the time. Very respectful, always looked out, wanted us to know if we wanted food, whatever. We get to Rolling Loud. I'm on stage. It's a great experience. I'm standing right there. Everybody's on the rail, like suffocating. People are passing out. People are getting stomped on. Like they're literally like crowd surfing these bodies to get them out of there. And at one point, I remember this kid, man, he dove into the crowd. I'm over here like holding him by his ankle.
Oh,
yeah, and I'm trying to get him back over and stuff like that. And that kind of was like the intro, because then he was hanging out with Ski Mask. Ski Mask is some guy.
Really slump, yeah.
So then I met him, and then just one thing after the other, just started networking, meeting people. They needed bodies, and once you do good work for one of these people sometime, and then the less people they have to explain the duty and the task that comes with the position, they like convenience. So it's like, I already knew like what it came with. But then like the big cons of it as well, where if these guys were out, you know, all night, I'm up all night. If they didn't sleep, I did not sleep. If they only ate once that day, I couldn't be like, yo, let me go grab food. No, I'm protecting your life. Like I can't stop. So sometimes they lose track of that, so it kind of sucked.
I think that point of view.
It was just, it got.
Let me get a bathroom break. Like, nah, you're like.
Yeah, bro, yeah. It was hard, and like you're on your feet most of the time, and then, anyways, so I did that for a little while, got more exposure. I did. 50 Cent was in town. He was doing. This is when he dropped his liquor Effin' Vodka, and he was doing a liquor store tour. So he was going all around. I went to multiple places. I was with 50. And stuff like that. There was a time where Waka was at Vane, when Celine was Vane at the time. I was with him for that. And a couple more artists here and there. I think probably the biggest highlight was actually after I was already insurance, an opportunity came up that I just could not pass by. So I'll get to that. So I worked at pub with a gentleman, and he got hurt in a fight. And he was always just like, not the brightest in my opinion at the time. That was my opinion. I didn't know any better. The guy's very smart. And he got into insurance. He tore like ACL, he's in crutches, and I see him doing this. And I'm like, man, I know you from where we worked. Like, there's no way you're really like up right now. Like, it's just not possible. And it took me a year of just like watching him to see him go from his beater that he had to a Nissan Altima to a 5 Series Beamer at the time that he had. And I was like, all right, so he's actually doing it. And I was like, all right, bro, I'll bite. Like, what's going on? He was trying to recruit me for the whole year, but I was just like, there's no way you're doing it. I'm good. Like, there's no way. And it's just like, you know, there's just some people you would trust blindly, some people you don't. It was just like on the spectrum. Like, I don't know. And he brought me in, and it's actually funny because when I got started, actually, let me take it. What I do now is I sell insurance, correct? So I have what's called as a 215 license. I can do health, life, and annuities in the state of Florida. I now have over 47 licenses that I can practice in, but during the time I needed to get licensed in Florida. So he brought me in, we did an interview, he told me the steps that I needed to do to get licensed. And I was so eager to get started, and I was so ready for this chapter of being in sales that I was like, you know what, I knocked out the 60-hour course that takes some people weeks or months to do in like a handful of days, and literally by the end of the week, I had my state exam. And I was so eager that the testing sites here in Orlando were all booked out for like a month, but they had one in Daytona that was open. So I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna make the drive, I'm gonna go. So I finished the online course, I'm cramming, I'm studying so hard, harder than anything I've ever studied for my life. I drive out there, I'm sweating like crazy. I pull up, drove an hour and a half, and the lady's like, yeah, you're not in the system, sweetheart. I'm like, excuse me? I'm like, what do you mean? I came a day early. I was so like nerves. So I drove an hour and a half there to drive an hour and a half back. They wouldn't see me. So the next day to drive an hour and a half there, and I failed it.
I failed it on my first try. I was hoping he passed.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm like, hey.
I failed it, bro. So then I'm like, I'm defeated. I think I scored like a 55. You need a 70% to pass. And I was defeated. I was like, you know what? This is going to be the end of me. There was another test date like 2 days later. I booked it, and it was in Orlando. I went, this time the test was harder than the first time I felt. So I'm like, oh, this is different. I was hoping to be somewhat more prepared, but the questions weren't even the same. It was this, I don't know. And right when you finish your exam, they print it out, they give you a piece of paper to slide it over to you. When they slid it over to me for this test, I folded it up, I put it in my pocket, I didn't look. I drove home, I'm living in Lake Nona at the time. And I walk in, and my girl's there, my boy Evan is there, his girl Keith, and they're all like, yo, did you pass, did you pass? I'm like, I don't know. And like, what do you mean you don't know? I'm like, bro, it's in my pocket, I'm scared to look. And they start like wrestling me for it to try to get it. I throw the paper, I sprint upstairs, I like locked myself in my room like some childish shit, and they came in here and like, damn, what did you need to pass? I'm like, bro, stop. And like, Evan's like slow rolling me, and then they're like, no, you passed. I got a 70.
That's it.
That's all you need,
baby.
Hey,
That's all
Barbara
you
says did the same thing, brother.
Man,
That's it.
but the worst part is though, like with this stuff, unfortunately, like none of that stuff you really use in the field.
Yeah.
You feel me? So
Yeah,
like you
100%.
just needed to cram it long enough to pass, and then like your real training got started in the field. So then I got licensed. I ended up working for this company that I ended up spending 5 years at. But I almost got fired and almost quit my first 2 months because from the day I started, most people were getting their first sale after a week, maybe 2. I didn't get my first sale until 2 months in. 2 months in. So like the person that had brought me in, they were losing faith in me. They didn't think I was really cut out for it. They were just like, nah, this might not be a fit for you. And if there's something about me, bro, it's like one, I refuse for somebody to tell me what I can and cannot do or what my outcome is gonna be. But during that time, I had a very reactive mindset. I was waiting for people to do the work for me. I was waiting for somebody to figure it out for me. I was waiting for it to be done for me. I was avoiding the work. And there was a switch in me where I was just like, all right, obviously these guys have no faith in me. I have to take this into my own hands. That's where I felt like I switched from what I tell my agents to this day, from having a reactive mindset to a proactive mindset. Proactive is somebody who's gonna be like, what can I do to benefit me? What can I do with my time right now? What can I do to invest in myself? What can I do to get closer to that outcome that I'm looking for? Versus somebody who is reactive is just like, let it happen for me. It's gonna happen. It'll just, somebody does it for me. Someone's just gonna give me 100 racks one day and be like, yo, you're my boy. That's what I was expecting, but I knew it wasn't like that anymore. So during that time in this company I worked for, the #1 producer in the entire country was working out of our office. So luckily he was cool, at least decently cool. And I was just like, hey bro, I don't know you, you don't know me. You're a dog. Would you mind if I just learned? Can I just listen to you speak? I'll stay out of your way. If you have anything you don't want me to hear, just tell me to go, but I just want to learn from you. And they're like, listen, if you just stay out of my way, bro, he had a sectional like sofa couch in his cubicle. He had an espresso machine. He had a very sick work ethic. First time I've ever been exposed to a work ethic like his, because bro, he moved his, like sold the gym he had in Georgia or North Carolina, came here, left his wife behind. I was going to school for like, to be a doctor. And he was the first one in the office, like 7 a.m. He worked till 11 o'clock at night, sometimes 12, and he did that 6-7 days a week, but he was making cheese. So I was just like listening, I'm like, let me hear what he's saying. I recorded his calls, I took videos of him. I was trying to figure out, what is this man doing to making him so successful, so much money? And although I didn't get to that caliber very quickly, I was able to take that information and I applied it into my business. When I got started here, I was very nervous and very scared because I cared a lot about what people thought about me, and I cared about what people heard me say on the phone. What if I say is stupid? What if they're judging me? What if I'm not doing the right thing? I was so scared when I first got started here, Miguel and Mo, that when I was calling my clients, or these leads that I purchased, if they answered, if I didn't, 1, get up immediately and go in the hallway so people couldn't hear me, or 2, I would hang up the phone. I'm calling all day to hope that somebody picks up, somebody would pick up, I'd hang up the phone because I was so nervous of what to say. It was a very tough barrier for me, which is why they wanted to fire me, which is why I wanted to quit. It just was not clicking. And then when I finally broke that, like, man, screw what they're thinking. We're like, and I know I'm not gonna get any better until somebody who's better than me can give me constructive criticism on where I'm failing, especially if it's somebody who's doing what I want. Don't get advice from somebody or listen to somebody who doesn't have what you want. That's defeating the purpose, you know what I'm saying? So like, I'm gonna listen to people who are doing it. And that's what this guy was, the #1 producer. So again, I take this, I apply it to the business, I learn, I educate myself, I took more control, more demeanor of my business. And by my second year there, I ended up getting a promotion. I became a manager. It was called an FTA, field training agent. And I recruited like 23 agents. That was Mike Rivera, that was Rob, that was a lot of our homies. And these are all young guys, but we're 23, 24. And we're just learning the business, but they trusted me, they had faith in me, and I was making it work. But unfortunately with the model, bro, it was very tough. I was working 12, 14 hours a day in a cubicle, making 300-400 phone calls a day, maybe more, to maybe hear 10 people pick up. 5 of them were telling you screw off, and the other 5 were like, I have no idea what you're talking about, or maybe. And then I had to try to convince them or persuade them why they needed health insurance. It was tough. It was very hard. And then
So these aren't people that were looking for health insurance. These are cold calls.
It's cold calling. They would tell you, oh, these people filled out their information.
This was health insurance or
This
life
is
insurance?
health insurance.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
My
It's
first
different.
5.5 years was strictly health insurance.
Okay.
And it was tough. And health insurance, I feel like, is a little bit harder to build a sense of urgency, because what happens? People wait till I'm hurting, let me get health insurance. Oh, I need a physical, let me go get health insurance. Like, they don't already have it already to be responsible. So that means that there's a lot of customer service. Why couldn't I use the insurance immediately? Why doesn't my doctor take it? Why didn't I have a copay? So on and so forth. So there was a lot of customer service. But fast forward again, about 3 years in, I ended up losing a lot of my team, because there was a lot of guys that just like me, that were struggling. I'm not a leader, like a true leader at the time. Like, we're figuring it out together, and I'm trying to give them as much emphasis as I can on what to do, what not to do. But I knew I wasn't the prime example, but I was working and trying to be molded into that prime example. But unfortunately, a lot of guys left. And there was probably to a point where I had like 3 or 4 agents, and it was actually costing me money to be in a leadership role I was spending more money being in a leadership role than I was making from my team. So at this point, that doesn't make sense, right? I'm losing money. Yeah. So I demoted myself. I just like, you know what, let me just go back to being a regular producing agent, be responsible for myself. And I did that for a little while longer, and I was gonna quit. I think I hit my limit. I was like, this isn't for me. I never saw my lady. I never saw my family. I was in a cube all day. I gained a lot of weight. I was 310, 315 pounds again. I can show you photos, and it was just bad. And the leader that I had at the time was like, you know what, this is where you need to be. This is your final career. I don't want to see you go. Let's just move you to another agency, another office. Maybe you get better with the camaraderie there. Maybe you like the culture more. Maybe I was like, you know what, I'll try. So I relocated, same company, but I just relocated to a different division.
Still health insurance.
Still health insurance, same company, same everything. It's just a different office, different team. So, and it went well. I worked for a gentleman that I was cool with at the time, rubbed shoulders with. It was great, but now 3 years in, it's clicking to me more that what I'm doing is not necessarily gonna make me the income that I wanna make. It's still more than I may do in security, 50, 60 bucks a night. Over here, I might make $1,500 a week, $2,000 a week, which at 24 years old, I never thought I could make that much money without a degree, because I dropped out of school already. I was going to Valencia. I was trying to go to school for engineering. But again, that hatred for the time being put into a classroom versus where I can apply to real life and experiences, that's what bothered me. Yeah. This classroom is not gonna help me get to where I wanna be respectfully for what I wanna do. The field and experience will. Yeah. So being in the new office, I gave it another go, but the only real people making real money were people who were leaders or who built a big team. So I knew I had to be that. But the requirement to be that was just too much. Like, you had to work this gentleman's schedule 5-6 days a week, weekends. If you came in late, you were a bum. If you left early, you were a part-timer. It was very not healthy.
Technically, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to come in early, all that.
But then they would remove incentives that they would give you, or they would remove little things like, oh, you don't want to come to the office? Oh, you don't want to work? Oh, we're going to take this back. Oh, you like that? We're going to take this back. But if you want to come in the office all the time, we'll give it all back to you. So it was like, you had to be, right? They put you in a box. Went over there, maybe lasted another 2 years, because remember I was there for 5.5 years. Then unfortunately, but at the same time, fortunately, and I'll explain more in a second, that's when I lost my dad. So January of 2022 was when I lost my father. So it was on my brother's birthday. So like 9 days after my birthday, I lost my dad.
Sorry for your loss.
I appreciate that, brother. During this time, he's living in Jersey, because that's where his family was, but he was so ill at this point, he was living in a home. So he lived in a home, and even worse, COVID is going on. It's like 2019, 2020. And my father was in like a 10 by 10 room. He would wake up, eat, shit, sleep, everything in a room. There was no daylight, there was no going out. He couldn't go out. And he already had, this is during COVID.
During bumps, so where was he?
Jersey. So like, he couldn't go out, he couldn't get exposure, because if he got sick, a cold for him could be a hay fever, it could be something very severe. So he was just in a room. So imagine me like calling my dad before that, being like, yo dad, like I'm trying to check on him, how you doing, bro? How you been? How's life? Like, there was nothing new to talk about. And he sounded defeated, bro. He was just like, what do you want me to tell you, son? I woke up this morning, I'm in bed, someone's gonna come clean me because I shit myself, and I'm gonna eat, and I'll do it again tomorrow. So it was tough. And my father, ended up losing his life to COVID. It was really what it was, on top of his pre-existing condition. And so I flew out there. It was probably one of the hardest things. I had seen him luckily about 1.5 years prior to him going, because it was hard for me to go out there working this schedule and this job. I had no downtime. So luckily, I also very blessed that my lady got to meet him, which was really cool. And yeah, so when he passed, I went out there. That was why I say fortunately, unfortunately, but like that was the most pivotal point in my life so far, because I had a different appreciation now for time, for my relationships, and what truly mattered to me. So like for me, I was so driven into work. I'm like, bro, I need to work so hard to make all this money so I can go spend it with my dad, take him shopping, go get a boat, go to Cuba, something. But like what I failed to realize, and my mother helped me learn this, was like, man, I'm working so hard, but like I didn't spend any time with him, or as much time as I could have. So it's like, man, I'm working so hard to make this money to go spend it with him, when maybe he would have appreciated the time that I just had to spend with him versus the money or the stuff the money could have done. So it's like, it's a very fine line, because it's hard, because you want to put so much behind your efforts and your craft to make so much money so you could bless your family, your people, your loved ones. But sometimes you got to know when to pull back from that and give what's more precious than money, and that's time to your family, to your people, and putting that on hold. And I still struggle with that today, because there's so many people that depend on me. There's so many agents that I have that are looking to me for help. There's so many people that their income is like dictated based off of my presence and what I give to them.
Let me ask you about that right now. You finished your career in health insurance right at the time that your dad passes away. That reality comes in. I think it's very important. Look, time is money.
Fire under you.
Yeah, time is money. I tell you right, time is the most important sense of currency. All right? That's why we value our time when we do haircuts, and we time them for a certain limit, because we want to get paid this much money during this much time. And then there's certain haircuts that we avoid because it takes this much time, and for the money we're going to get paid, it's not even worth the income. Right. And it's like that concept of time is everything. So at this moment, you realize this. It's a hey.
It was actually when I got back.
When you got back, okay.
So I buried my father, which was very hard to do, very, very tough. And when I came back, I'm trying to get back in the motion of things, go back to work. People are being comforting, and it's great. But there was one morning, bro, I woke up like every other morning, 6:30, pissed off. I hate what I'm doing. I hate my life. I hate my work. I hate everything. And I looked in the mirror and I broke down. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm so miserable and sad where I'm at. Why am I still doing it? Why? So
were you physically upset with yourself too? Were you overweight? Were you?
Yeah. I was overweight. I was not. Yeah, I was broke. I was broke, and I was with this company for 5.5 years. I was broke, bro. I was selling policies to my friends. I was so tight and struggling with making sales and having the funds to put into my craft to make money that I was calling some of my friends and be like, yo, let me sell you a health insurance policy. We'll post date it 30 days just so I can get the advance on commission. Then when the time comes to pay, cancel the policy. I'll still get paid. You're not going to get charged. And I was using that to pay my bills. And I was doing that, calling, yo, can I sell you a policy? And like,
that's the hustle.
It was hard, bro. Yeah. It was hard. It was prideful. Look, I had to literally be like, because I'm literally telling my boy, I'm down. I'm struggling. I'm bad. Can I get a policy?
I gotta flash that right back to when you were doing the sales at the theater. It's the same concept. Although you probably in your mind are seeing it from the perspective like, oh man, I was struggling, which I 100% not taking away from that. It's like, bro, if you don't, at one point he figured out, I'm gonna finesse it here and I'm gonna get paid this way. Mm-hmm. And now you're reapplying this moment of your life. You get what I'm saying? It's almost like a reactive moment, not a practical moment, because you have no choice here. It's kind of coming to you in a sense. This is now how I'm going to be living. And I'm sure from here you pivoted on, but keep going with the story. It sounds incredible.
This, by the way, I got to interrupt you, man. Yeah. This is incredible. Either your story, you can keep going, brother. I don't care how long that time. We have a timer. I don't care about that timer, bro. We chopping it up. Yeah, I know.
Nah, but it's so good.
I'm gonna fast forward this a little bit more. I'm
like, we're not worried about that, bro.
I'll be respectful of time.
No, don't worry. Nah, like, bro, I'm hooked. Like, keep going.
So, yeah, bro. So I'm hitting up friends, bro, to sell policies. Bro, during this time also COVID, I couldn't pay my bills.
So this is like 2020?
So 2019, 2020. During this time. And so this is actually before I lost my father. So I ended up moving back into my mom's house because I couldn't pay rent. Even before that, I had to tell my lady, babe, on your way home from work, I need you to go stop at my mom's house to pick up food for us because there was no food in the fridge. I couldn't provide for my woman. I couldn't do the things as a man that would hurt you morally, because like at this point I'm thinking, why is she even with me?
You've been with her the whole time.
I'm broke. I can't feed her.
Balding.
This has been how long you been with your wife or your
I've
significant
been with
other?
my girl for 7 years now.
Shout out your girl, man.
Yeah, shout
Hard
out
work,
to
man.
you, baby. I love you so much. She's been with me when I was in a house in Avalon with 5 roommates. And she has literally seen the come up from everything, from when I was doing what I had to do to pay my bills, and let your imagination run wild, like doing what I had, moving the way I had to move. Man, she was with me through it all.
So then keep going. So the health insurance, I'm still stuck there.
Yeah.
So 2020, what happens then?
So again, I moved back in with my mom's around this time. Me and my girl, she's with me at the time. Finally, we were there for maybe like a year or so, finally saving all the money I had, right? So whenever I'm selling a deal, I'm pocketing it all. I have no rent, no nothing, to a point where I had enough for a deposit and a down payment for a townhome, which is where I ended up moving, where Dave's at. I moved into that place, right?
Shout out Dave.
Shout out Dave.
Shout out Dave, my boy.
And so I'm living there now. I'm still doing health insurance, but now.
Damn, still doing that. That wasn't too long ago, was it?
It's not, I mean, we're in 20, I'm lost in
Wait,
time.
wait,
We're
you're talking
2024, so like,
2024,
yeah,
yeah.
like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
And shoot, man, I'm trying to get the time frame right here. When I lost my pops, I came back. Then that was when I had my trigger about like what I need to do next. And I was like, you know what? I need to look for the next best thing. So the good thing about this industry and the model that I worked for at the time was I was getting paid a back end. So I had sold so many health insurance policies to people that they stayed on the books. And as long as they were making their payment, I got a piece of that. It's called when you back end your account. So from selling so many policies for being with that company 5 years, when my account finally broke, I was making about $4,500 a month, passively.
They're not even selling it.
No, not even selling. So I'm like, bro, this is my sign. Because $4,500 a month back then, that was covering all my bills, my rent, my car.
That's a lot today, by the way, for a lot of people.
And some.
Alhamdulillah, we're gonna be humble here. For the people who don't make that income, we're not trying to target you guys, because some people,
100%.
realistically, that's why we have to like be appreciative for what we have, because to some people, $4,500 a month.
I mean, he's saying himself that $4,500, he knows,
you know what I'm
I
saying?
can pay my bills and I can make a
100%,
move.
100%. That's what I'm saying. That's what makes the story even
That's
better.
a lot of money.
You know what I'm saying?
And some.
Yeah.
I mean, respective to
Your
the
drive,
situation.
Your drive
yeah.
is, I want more.
So like $4,500 a month, I knew that I paid my rent, my car. During the time I was driving my Honda Accord, it was red. And I was like, all right, that covers that. And any like groceries I have. I know I can't eat out. I know I can't buy shit. It's just, this covers my necessities.
Discipline.
So I'm like, all right, so I can now separate myself from this industry that I've been cuffed to for 5 years, not this industry, this company, and go do something else. The problem with the model that I was working out with this company is that we could only sell health insurance to people who were damn near perfect. It was a private marketplace thing. So if you had pre-existing conditions, multiple medications, we could not get you approved for our product. Our audience was people who were relatively healthy. And unfortunately, most of Americans are unhealthy. So there's a lot of business I was giving away. So we had a lot of our agents had referral partners, people that were brokers that worked outside of our company that had access to more company, more products. So whenever somebody got declined for our product, we would just give them a call. They would have something they could offer them. So we'd give them that business and they would give us a kickback, $100, $125, whatever the case may have been. And I'm like, man, that's when it clicked to me. I'm like, man, I'm leaving here. What can I do next? Well, listen, I gave so much business away to somebody else. I'm over here making calls. People are calling them to give them business. I want to be one of those guys. So I knew somebody who was. I called him up, tried to ask for some insight, and he wasn't being fully transparent with me. He was like, oh, you guys make all the money. We get the scraps, man. Don't come over here.
He was gatekeeping.
Hater, boy.
Gatekeeping.
Gatekeeping.
Like anything,
No,
I
with
asked
that, but keep
multiple
going, yeah.
people to get a true standpoint. I met this guy, which I'm cool with. Ray Sus, come shout out, my boy. And he was like, no, this is really how it works. This is what you were being told for 5 years. This is what you were really in. This is what's really at the end of the tunnel. I'm like, man, so you're telling me y'all can do this? Y'all get paid this way? Y'all have these products and you're non-captive? So if you don't know the difference between captive and non-captive, captive means you can only work and represent that one company and the few products that they offer. I can't go work for this company, this product, I'll breaching my contract and they can terminate you with cause. Versus if you're working for an uncaptive agency or company, I can pick up this company, this company, this company. I can, this company has a great product. I want to go get that product, and I can do that. As long as they were non-captive, I can do that. So now I went over there. I learned the other side of the business, And I hit up my boys that were leaders at my first company I was with for 5 years. People that they just made it work. They fit the system, they fit the role play, they did it. And I was like, man, you've been rocking with me, bro. I've known you for 5 years. I know you guys already have a partner, but some of those partners were ass. And I know they weren't gonna be as good as me because so many people were hitting them up. They put no sense of urgency on your business. They didn't call you up, hey, the call went good, we closed them. It was just like, oh yeah, I forgot I closed them a week ago. Here's $100. It wasn't good. Now that I know what people hate, I know what to give them that they'll love. And that's urgency, respect, time. This is how the call went, being cordial. I logged every last client I sold. I logged every agent that gave me that business. Everything was organized. So I went to multiple offices where my buddies had big teams and I did presentations saying, hey, this is what I do. I've been in your shoes. I know your product. You don't have to give me a whole story. Just tell me why they were declined and I know exactly what to do. And that's what it ended up being. So then now, after driving to multiple offices, I'm catering Chick-fil-A, I'm bringing Bang energy drinks because this is what they loved in this work environment. Didn't know if this was gonna work. Every office I went to, I put my name, my email, my phone number on the dry erase board, a few products that I sold. I said, guys, if you need me, call me. And after maybe about 3 weeks, bro, I had roughly 55 referral partners. So I went from being in a cubicle, 12, 14 hours.
What product did you sell that you were telling him you were selling? Like,
it was just stuff that he couldn't offer. So think about it. If you sold a policy and they got declined, you either had to leave money on the table or you just had to give it away because you couldn't do anything with it. But I could.
So you're in a sense telling these offices, you guys can't cover so-and-so policies, X, Y, Z.
Exactly.
If you can't cover X, Y, Z, holla at me. Here's a Bang, here's some Chick-fil-A, and I'm gonna take care of you.
And I'm asking rhetorical questions. Hey guys, by show of hands, how many times have you ever spoke to a client that you couldn't help? Everybody raise your hands. How many times have you got a decline? Everybody raise your hands. How great would it be to have somewhere where you could direct that business and get compensated for it? I'm your guy.
That was beautiful.
So that's what I did. So, again, I went from working at 12 to 14 hour days in a cubicle, eating pizza and wings, whatever they catered to us, 5-6 days a week, to now I'm waking up when I want, and I'm waking up to like 10 missed calls. Adrian, I have this person, I have a diabetic, I have somebody who's pregnant, I have somebody who's this, and I have a product that can help all of them because I have multiple of them. So now the ice is already broken. They did all the hard work. I'm just calling them, hey, Miguel, I'm very sorry to hear about what you went through and it's unfortunate the previous client couldn't help you. That's a very trusted partner of mine. I know the rest of your family did get approved, but let's not leave you hanging. Let's see what we can do for you. And then I'd help you find something that works for your pre-existing or whatever.
Hey, that was so smooth.
And stuff like that.
I'm about to cancel my policy. Call them.
And that's what I did. So like now I went from calling all these people to get a bunch of like no's, maybes, and screw yous to now people are like, yes, 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 yes. And I'm just closing deals. Closing. I did that for about 6 months. And in those 6 months,
what year is this?
This is 2022. 2022.
Isn't it crazy how I don't know, bro. That's just fucking insane.
It was 2022, and what ended up happening was, unfortunately, 6 months I was there. There was a change in acquisition. That company got bought out by a larger company. When that took place, they tried to reduce compensation structure. People were trying to split. It was going downhill fast. I foreshadowed it. I didn't want to be there, so I looked for the next best thing. But while I was there, I was the #1 producer in the entire company. By the time I left, I did about $1.2 million in volume and annual revenue from the amount of clients that I helped, from all the people that were sending me business. And it was fantastic. I could have ride it out for who knows how long.
And how much were you making a month, if you don't mind me asking for the camera?
During
at that time?
During that time?
From the 4,500 passively to that moment in your life.
Shoot, bro. So, I mean, I can tell you in that 6 months, I made about probably between 90 to 110K in those 6 months.
Incredible.
Incredible. Which was great.
It's crazy how long it took you to be in the industry to figure that loophole, that whatever you said.
Right, and it was always in front of me.
Yeah,
I'm giving the business to somebody. Let me be that person.
But see, this is like playing Pandora's box right here, right? If you have the chance to be given $1 million, right, and you do not work for it, you will lose it, right? If you obtain $1 million, you've obtained success. You work towards your success. You are your reason for your success. Now it's no one could take it from you. Like you said, like that one time you held XXS's leg and you still had him, right? It's like no one can take it from you. It's the same concept. It's like, because although it sucks that you went through this slum of 6 years, right? But it's like, you learned to a point that's like, no, you can't take this from me. I know exactly what I'm doing, how I'm supposed to do it. You know, it's like benching, bro.
I saw a meme today, or a thing on IG. It was literally like, your first 5 years in business is not when you get rich, it's where you get good. Yeah. That's where you get good.
The beards.
The beards. It's where you get good, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's crazy. Oh God, I love this when I talk about this, bro, because like,
I love the hustle.
I feel like the reason why I'm here right now was because of my inability to quit. When I had to go back to my mom's house, when I had to send my girl, when I had negative money in my bank account, and never for a second did I ever consider going to get a job. When everybody's telling me, bro, just
I was gonna ask you that. You never thought about going back to security? Nothing?
No, I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I couldn't do it, bro. One, because I had a hard time with people telling me what to do. That's the first thing, honestly. And two, is just like, this is not to rain on anyone's parade, but it's like, bro, we have, and we know this, right? We have one life, right? If I go work at Winn-Dixie, Publix, Walmart, Home Depot, whatever, is that gonna make me a millionaire? Is that gonna give me the car I want? Is that gonna put me on the trips that I want? Is that gonna retire my mom? Is that gonna give me the most out of this life? And God gave us a lot to obtain, but it's not gonna come easy. But I'd be damned, and we were talking about this yesterday, if I'm 50, 60 years old and I'm looking back on all the what ifs, what if I did that? What if I tried this? What if I took that leap of faith? The weight of regret is so heavy on me that I refuse to live by it.
I'm gonna go ahead and I want to get into the second half where we can finish your company and speak on it. But real quick, I want to put this in there. You have two women in your life that you love: your mom and your significant other, your girl. And I say this to say this, man, that's purpose. He I don't know if you know this or you do know this, but it's like everything you're doing now, because when your father passed, you realized, like, I had to be able to provide people I love, but yet enjoy my life.
Right.
And it clicked. And it's like you love your significant other, your girl. You love your mom, and you're like, nah, this is not just for me, but this is for these two. And it's incredible to have something to anchor on in your life, because that helps you out so much to fulfill
I use it in my business today. When somebody comes to interview that wants to come work with me, one of the popular, because of course this is normal, they'll be like, what's the schedule? What's the hours? What do I have to do? And I said, whatever you want. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, you heard me. I have guys that walk in at 7 a.m. I have guys that walk in at 5 p.m. I have guys that leave at 2 p.m. I have guys that leave at 11 p.m. You are in control of your time. I always tell people this: if whatever effort you put in here makes you 4 or 5K a month and you're happy, bro, I'm happy for you. Live it up, enjoy it, especially if you can make time for everything else that you love. But if you want to make more and you can still incorporate that balance, I will teach you. But I do not demand. It's like when I said, like, you can take a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. I'm not gonna tell you need to work this schedule, the hour. I'll tell you what my schedule for success is. I can tell you what will probably give you the best outcome. I can tell you what's gonna be the best as far as compounding efforts, but I will not force it on you. I tell people, make your money, but if you have family, if you have an errand, if you have a birthday, if you have a cookout, go do it. Go, have fun, do that. But then when it's time to work, lock in and let's get this cheese. But I don't put this over anything else. And it's so great when I tell people, like, you don't have to hit me up to tell me, can you take a day off? If you can go on vacation, if you can come in late, if you have to go to this appointment, don't tell me nothing. The only time I want you to talk to me is when you need help or talking about business, but don't talk to me about your schedule.
I've been to his office, right? And it's definitely that vibe. It's so cool. You can show up with a tank top on, you can show up with slides on, you can show up in a suit. There's guys, you get everything in there. And I want to ask you, why'd you go that route? Why'd you go the route? You went against the grain, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I did. And it's funny because when I first came to this company that I'm at now, you had to wear dress shirts or polos. And I was the black sheep. I'm like, we're not doing that. To the point where I left, started my own office, and now everyone's doing what I'm doing. Wear what you want, come what you want. I'm like, isn't that ironic, right? But I went against the grain. And it's mostly because it was my principles, what I believed in, what I felt. And that's what I'm gonna go by. And I worked at a company where you had to wear slacks and a dress shirt and sometimes a tie 5 days a week.
And you did this for security. What was it, 2022? Let's get there. 2022. You are at one point realizing that you're making this much income, that you're doing pretty good. You have all these employees, but the company's about to liquidate. You're about to leave.
Yeah, so there's a change in acquisition. So a company got bought by a larger company. When that happened, they tried to reduce compensation, so essentially pay you less per sale, and people were dividing up. I'm like, man, this is not something I want to do or work with. And now that I'm learning the business, and now I'm learning what questions to ask and how to be more receptive to things, like, I'm like, all right, I don't like where this is headed. So after that happened, I left and I went to go work for where I work now. So I work for an IMO. It's a company called FFL, stands for Family First Life. They have over like 30,000 licensed and appointed agents across the country, been around for 10 plus years. It's a huge company. But within this company, there are a bunch of agencies. An agency, just think of it as like somebody who stepped up to the plate, had a vision, decided to build, recruited a lot of people, and now they're considered an agency, just to put it in simple terms. So when I came over to FFL, there was 2 people I knew that were working for this company. One of them I knew personally, the other one I didn't. The one that I knew personally, I knew him from my original employer. And I knew him for always being a very, I used to call him like the Conor McGregor of insurance. Short, stocky, arrogant, my shit don't stink, flaunts, make a lot of money, I'm the shit. That was him. And then there was another gentleman who I didn't know about, but his name was coming up about a lot, that he's coming up into space. And I was like, all right, well, I know what I'm gonna get with this guy. Let me entertain and see what this guy has to offer. So before I even went to go here, I still, because you gotta weigh all your options, I had a conversation with the Conor McGregor guy. And it went left. He was telling me, yo, I heard you were doing, because he was also a decline partner like I was doing. He was doing the same thing. He was one of the first people to do it. And he was like, yo, I heard you had a lot of offices around here. You taking a lot of my guys. That's cool. Like, hey, man, there's enough for everybody. He's like, what offices do you have now? And I'm listing a few. He's like, yeah, a lot of those guys work for me, but I'm about to take those guys back. I can just pay them more than you can, and my face is good. I've been doing this for a long time. So he came, oh, yeah, bro.
Oh,
so
man.
and
What
then
a
he,
way
and then, so he's like, so then he hits me with the. So what I'm trying to tell you, bro, is I'd rather work with you than against you. And I was like, okay, I
He
appreciate
trying to
it.
make you stay in your lane, buddy.
He tried to like,
Lil bro you.
as soon as I said, you know what,
100%
thank you so
bro,
much for your time.
yeah.
I appreciate it. I hung up. I never called him again. I never spoke to him again. And
Oh, this was on the phone. It was face to
this
face.
was a FaceTime
Yeah.
because he lived in Tampa.
I would say, Adrian, you're pretty big in person.
Yeah.
I speak to him like, yeah, I mean, no offense. In person, they be like, hey, listen.
So I said, you know what, it's good. And I went to go interview with this other gentleman. When I spoke to him at this point, now I have a little bit more accolades and credentials. I'm like, bro, this is what I've done in this amount of years. This is my expertise. This is what I know. This is what I've done. This is what I've built. Like, why do I need to be here? Why is this the spot to be at? And when he taught me about life insurance, because remember, my license allowed me to do life insurance this whole time, but I never knew and I never was interested. I was like, why? I'm doing good with health. Never entertained it. And when he told me about life insurance and how much money he was making, and he showed me some deposits and how the conversions worked and the 9 different streams I could generate, I was like, there's no way. He showed me a couple of checks. He showed me the model, and I was like, all right, this is what I need to do. This is where I need to be. So I was still a little skeptical at first. Luckily, I was very blessed and fortunate that 5-6 years of eating shit where I got good, what that taught me and what my biggest asset today is my ability to speak. That is so important. And I feel like being sarcastic plays a big factor in that, which is why I love people like Mo, and I try to recruit people like Mo and other things like that, because if you can be quick, if you can be charismatic, if you're quick on your toes, it's huge, because people like when people speak with conviction and they know what they're talking about. There's so many guys that'll come work for me and they're just a lot of, I'm not sure, I don't, this is a good question. It's bad.
Yeah.
Now you're letting doubt creep into your client's mind. You are no longer the expert and they're gonna start questioning everything. But if Miguel's to ask me a question and I know my shit like this and I can answer everything fluidly and I know how to respond and how to make him feel good, it's almost like a psychological thing.
It's like spitting game.
It's like anything, bro.
Yeah.
It's just like, it changes everything. So speaking with conviction and knowing how to speak in certain circumstances, certain areas is massive. So when I came over here, I already knew how to speak. I already knew how to like get to a close. All I had to learn was life insurance. Teach me this pitch, teach me what it's about, how it works, and then I'll apply it. So I came in, he showed me some checks, he told me how it works, gave me some scripts. My very first month, I made 12 grand and I never made less moving forward.
Alhamdulillah.
And that, alhamdulillah. And I never made less moving forward. And that was when I was like, okay, this is real. And to this day, I still don't believe, alhamdulillah, what I'm earning and what I'm making, because 1, I never thought it was possible. And 2, I didn't think I'd get to this point. And I was very short-sighted for a very long time. I never thought of the future. I never thought of like foundation. I just thought about tomorrow. Well, I wanted instant recognition. I wanted shit today. I didn't think like that. But now I do. So now I learned to be patient. So making that first 12 G's that month and not knowing anything about life insurance first time, I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy.
And at this time, you're just an agent?
I'm just an agent. I'm just by myself.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
just me and Big T. Shout out Big T. You know who you are. And Tyler. And,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then so we
Shout out Tyler.
Yeah, shout out Tyler. because he really helped me build this. You know, when we came in, we interviewed together, we sat by each other, we heard the opportunity, and he could have been like, yo, Adrian, I want to be equal level to you. I both want to be up to the boss in charge. But he was very humble, and he was like, yo, this is your space. You've done it longer than I have. You know what you're doing. I want to help build you and add value. So he went underneath me.
And how long you known Tyler for prior to this?
About like 10 years, like high school as well.
Oh, so you guys were friends. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I thought you met him
car
at
sales
work,
and
so
stuff
you know
like
him for a
that.
long time.
Yeah, I know. And he did car sales, and he was great, man. He made 6 figures at like 18, 19 selling cars. So he was a very good salesperson. And I knew he would exceed in this.
Tyler knows his shit.
He knows his shit.
And how did you bring him into this meeting? Like you like
So he
reached out
worked
to
with
him?
me a little bit at my previous employer, but it didn't work out with him.
With the health insurance.
With the health insurance.
And he didn't like the
He
health.
didn't like it that much. And then when I told him about like what's going on here and how much we can make, he's money driven like me. You know, we were talking about that a little bit. He's like, all right, well, if we could do that there, let's hear it out.
This is like Wolf of Wall Street. Show me a check.
And he
show me a check.
confirmed like like Adrian, we're sitting on something here. I'm like, all right, bet, let's do it. Let's take it serious. And he made roughly the same amount, if not more than I did the first month, because he had experience. He actually worked for a company called New York Life for a handful of months. So he actually was better qualified than I was. So he helped me out a lot. And a lot of where I'm at today, I pay respects to and give flowers to Tyler as well, because he was like the brother in the sense of like what I told you, I wish I had somebody to build with, and this and the third. Like, we had the same vision, we knew what we wanted, we knew what we wanted to accomplish, we knew how to get there, and we just knew that if we held each other accountable, we worked very hard, we would get there. So first month, him and I go crazy, and what I did was, it wasn't my original approach that I wanted to do, but unfortunately in the world that we live in today, everybody's on Instagram, and people like jewelry, cars, money, right? That's just the truth. So during this time, and even now, we get paid in most cases between 24 to 48 hours from closing a deal. So if I close Mo right now, I'm getting paid the next 1 or 2 days. So like, I'm over here on Instagram, I'm showing daily deposits, 800, 1200, 2100, 600 every day.
Real money. Real money. Legal money.
Yeah.
Legal money, why?
And doing the right thing, helping families, like literally doing something purposeful, like really. And I've had claims in my career. October will be 2 years that I've been here, and I've had 3 people pass away, and their families claim $200,000, $300,000, $400,000.
I think life insurance is very important. I have a little kid, bro. I love my son, and I tell everybody like, you got to start putting yourself in a position. And I think reason maybe it does help out your business now more than ever is that we do have social media. People do see deaths. You know, shout out Palestine. You know, where Mo's from. People are dying every day, and that's over there, and that's tragic. It's a tragedy over there. Imagine here, where people are like, you have a chance, you actually have an opportunity
To do something about it.
do something, provide for your family. Why not? You know what I'm saying?
And it's because everybody thinks they're gonna live forever,
And sometimes also lack of knowledge. So you come in this company and you tell someone it's only this much. You could do that. You could provide at least this much for this much, and all of a sudden like, you're right. I spend this much. I can save this and do this instead.
Yeah.
So anyways, keep going, man.
Yeah. So I'm taking to Instagram. I'm posting the checks. I finally get a car, the nicest car I ever had. So my car upgrade. So I started off with a Honda Element. If you know what that is, it's a box car.
Hey, I love that. I love Honda Elements. K24. You know, okay?
I had an Element. Then I had a Red Accord. Oh no, excuse me. I had an Element. Then I had a Nissan Altima that Tyler sold me. Shout out Big T. He sold me a Nissan Altima, the Transition Blue. That's a whole other story.
Shout out Big T.
After years, but damn, you want to talk about hardship? I'll tell a story super brief about that. When I had the Nissan in my Transmission Blue, I was an FT. I was a leader at the time. Bro, I wasn't making money as a leader, and I was faking it. Bro, could you imagine being a leader, people turning to you, and I had my agents picking me up from my house and taking me home because I didn't have enough money to fix my transmission. And I'm their leader. You know how hard that fucking was, bro?
Yeah.
So like,
Early growth, but
so I had the
crazy,
Nissan Altima, then I had a Red Accord, then I got an Infiniti Q50S, and then I got my BMW M550i when I started doing life insurance.
Yeah.
So that was the first.
That was the first, like,
Yeah.
oh, you can see what I'm pulling up in today.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Well, everything else was like, I'm gonna park my car far, I don't know what I'm driving, like none of that. And so I get the whip. It was crazy. It sounded amazing. I got a big couple checks. I bought a little jewelry here and there. And the first attention that I grabbed was people that I worked with at my first employer that I worked with for 5 years. Because I was relatable, and they were now in the same position that I was in when I left, which is they felt they were getting no further progression in their career. They were spinning their wheels. They weren't happy. They weren't making good money. So they see me being an average, if not below average, for 5 years, and now they see me going crazy. They're like, "How the hell is Adrian doing this? What are you doing?" And I was like, "Yo, let me come on through and I'll show you." I didn't hit up anybody. I didn't recruit anybody. I didn't say, "Yo, Miguel, you need to come work for me. You need to come be here." I didn't do any of that because I knew that my results would speak for me. If you can't deny numbers, if you're seeing my checks and what I'm doing, you're gonna know I'm doing something. So that was the approach I took.
Men lie, women lie.
Numbers don't. Let my boss hear that. He'll love that. And anyways, so they started like, "Yo, what are you doing? How are you making this happen?" So I was like, "Yo, come on through and I'll show you." So all I did was I took them from a Prius and I put them in a Ferrari. The best part about it was they were like me. They knew sales, they were 1099, they knew the industry, they knew how to invest, they knew the schedule, they knew the hours. I just had to teach them life insurance. So when I brought them over and I showed them how it worked, and they're making their first couple phone calls and they're making $1,000, $2,000 a day, they're like, "What the hell?" And then it just became like wildfire. This person came over, then this person came over, and then I'm posting their success, and then people eventually started getting FOMO, fear of missing out. Especially when I got my first couple big dogs, people that were making good money over there. But
oh yeah, that threw me off. There's a couple people I can say right now that I seen join. I'm like, well, hold on.
Yeah,
what's going on? Because I know he got it. What's he doing with Adrian now? Like what he got to be like.
So now it's just like, all right, oh, he's over there, she's over there. Oh, what the hell? Why they? And it just became one thing after the other. And the best part about it, and the thing that I loved the most, above all else, man. At the first place I was working at, there was very few people really eating, and everybody else was in the rat race. Over here, everybody's eating.
Dog.
So there's nobody pocket watching. There's no bad blood. There is no what are you doing? Like, we're all breaking bread together. And it's such a great feeling because when I used to recruit at some of these other companies, I felt hypocritical because I knew the only real person eating was me. I'm getting a cut every time you sell a deal. I'm just hoping you stay one more week, sell one more deal, get me another check. Here, some of my agents are making more than I am on their daily deposits. So it's like, you can't just be like, "Oh, Adrian's the only one making money. Adrian's the only one killing it. Adrian's at the top." No, bro. I can show you 20 agents making over $25,000 a month right now. Easy.
Nah, I've seen it myself. It's insane.
I can show you. And I have a couple agents that are doing $40,000, $50,000 a month. And you wouldn't, and I say that number so crazy because like over the years, my understanding, my respect, and my appreciation for money as a tool has changed dramatically. I'm now in a point where I'm making more in a month than people make in a year, and people make in 2 years.
And you know what's crazy? Is like the pivot. People pivot in life, right? Obviously I'm a barber, I cut hair, Mo cuts hair. And it's like in this podcast, bro, in this episode, speaking to you, I've known you for such a long time and I know you're successful. But see, like I didn't know the dominoes, everything that happened in your life, your 5 years of you going through this. I knew you did security, but I didn't know you had to wear a button down one week and the next week you had to wear a tank top and back to the button down. And it's like, that's probably why you didn't like the button downs in the first place. He's like, for what? I used to beat people up with this on.
Yeah.
This ain't gonna make me sell nothing. Yeah. But fast forward, it's so pivotal to understand that a journey takes time, bro. That it's like this was
and you're still on it though.
And I'm
this is the beginning. You just got
listen,
this.
we're just in the facts. Like you
the next time
got another 30
we get
years
him on
of
here, we'll probably be somewhere else. You know what I'm
so
saying?
at this point we're gonna just take the money and throw it out. We know it's gonna keep coming. Yeah. It's just incredible how you've constantly pushed yourself, bro. Like you said it, but bro, I'm not gonna quit. Like, bro,
Oh, I'm gonna throw you in for a bigger loop. You ready for this?
Incredible.
So
bro.
I learned not to have an emotional attachment to money. Money is just a tool, right? Money is not the goal, it is the tool.
It is important in America though, I ain't gonna hold it.
It is, but it is still
important.
a tool. What does money get you? Everything you want, it's a tool. So I've learned to not have an attachment to it because one, we can make more, right? There's plenty out there, but when you know how to use it responsibly and how to further your business and progress your business, that's what taught me about, again, not to be such a short-sighted person long-term, and this is what I mean. My first year at this FFL company that I'm at, I recruited over 95 agents at the time. During that as well, while building and growing my agency, I outsold everybody in my organization while being a leader. Now, I did that for a number of reasons. One, I was passionate about it. I loved it. I'm good on the phones. But also now I'm recruiting people that don't know me. They're being recruited by other people. So I got to show them why I'm in the position that I'm in, that I can also walk and talk my talk and walk.
Think about that, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't think about that. There's people that he's never met. And all they know is this Adrian.
So
you know what I'm saying?
And there's so many, real quick, don't forget what you're gonna ask me. And there's so many people that I'll meet now, they think I've always been like this. I'm like, bro, if you would have met me a year ago, you would have never known.
Not even, I'm saying they see, like when I think about you, I think about like football, you know, and then obviously I know your progression and I respect it and I think it's incredible. Glory be to God and may continue to bless you. But I'm saying like, I'm just the perspective right now that somebody met you and doesn't know. You have to not front it, but you have to be serious. Because he's always smiling when he comes here, joking with us.
But I'm still
he's
like that.
And I'm sure he is, but he has to, it's a business he has to protect. So
Yes.
you can't just let anybody come in and,
Correct.
you know, one bad apple
Correct.
can ruin the whole tree.
Oh, yes.
So you're like, yo, like this is, you can have fun, do whatever you want, come how you ever want. I'm sure you have a couple rules. If they are, what are they?
I do. Ooh.
Well, hold on real quick. Yesterday, my bad. Yesterday, we went to, where was it that you interviewed somebody that worked there? I don't know if they want to know that they they still got a job.
Shout out my boy Javon.
Okay, but I'm talking about the person that still worked there that you interviewed.
Okay, yeah. What
Okay,
about
so where was I going with that? I completely forgot. Damn it. Oh, he told me when he interviews people, they come in with a resume. I was just asking him questions yesterday walking around the mall. And he was like, bro, people be trying to come in there with a resume. Bro, I ripped that shit up in their face. I said, let's talk. I want to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, if I have a
Yeah.
crazy past and it's on my resume and I have anything and I'm scared, nervous, as soon as you do that, I'll do whatever the fuck you say, dog. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you want, bro, I'll run through a wall right now. Let's do this. I'm about to get this bread for you, dog.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So what makes you go, like, I guess you already mentioned it, why you go that route of whatever you want to call it, but it's just crazy, bro. I just can't believe he does that. That's
Yeah, because
crazy.
I don't care. Because what if somebody judged me based off of what I've done and where I've been and didn't give me a shot? Yeah. If somebody didn't give me a shot, I wouldn't be here. So like, I want to, and I tell people this, and I'm so honored and privileged to be here, bro, because if there's anything that I want anybody to take from this, and something that's dear to me in my mission, it's to positively impact as many people as possible. When you go to your funeral, right, who's gonna be there, right? Is it people that you looked out for? Is it people that you went and bought bottles for and then maybe you never seen them again? Like who's gonna be there and what are they gonna say about you when you go, right? I don't want nothing but smiles and memories and happy times of all the beautiful times we've shared and all the things that we've done and anything that I could have taken a part of my journey, my life, and I can put it in Mo, pause. Okay. And Mo just be like, and just be like, man, like that's always gonna stick with me. Like I want those memories to last forever. So again, the reason why I do that is if somebody's like, oh, you work pub and security, what kind of resume is this? Where he didn't even go to college, he has no degree.
Yeah, that's so
he
true.
Didn't do that.
Your
Like,
perspective, it can
they
also
judge you on
pivot,
just being a security guard. They're like, what the f***? Why'd you bring me this guy?
yeah.
And I imagine, like, not that you are like this, but you know, you read something and you're like if a barber came in and the haircut, he showed me his Instagram and he doesn't have that many pictures, and the only pictures he has is a picture from 2018. That's a long time ago. You know, that's 6-7 years ago. And I look at it and it's a pretty bad haircut. I'm like, but it's been 6-7 years, so that's all you might have on your resume. But if now you show me an updated picture, I'm like, oh, like you're really good. But if I would have seen that, I might have not, you know, so I get your perspective where it's like, I really don't need this. I want to know, what do you want to do today?
Tell me about you. What's your work ethic like?
What rules
What's your
do you have for
character
them?
like?
Because now that you're bringing this up, like there has to be something that you're like, I don't want this.
Bro,
or,
yeah.
At least one thing. I know there has to be
You
something.
gotta go. It's amazing in that
No,
office.
I'm not saying that it's not all pros. Shout
out everybody in that
I'm
office.
saying, shout out everybody in the
I
office.
tell, I mean,
it's
bro,
amazing.
it's
It's amazing,
really
bro.
simple, bro. So, like, luckily, I don't need a lot of rules. I don't know if I've just been blessed or fortunate or what it is.
That is great,
But,
man.
like,
Yeah.
amen. But, like, a lot of my guys, like, the chemistry, the culture is, like, nothing you ever seen before, bro.
perfect.
It's not fake. It's not stressed. It's just like, bro, you walk into my office, people are rushing to say hello to you.
But it's
Yo, what's up, bro?
Yeah.
I'm Kenneth. Nice to meet you.
It's also probably the way you hire. You know, because it's
Probably.
like, has there been anybody that you haven't hired that you feel like not yet? Maybe an energy thing. Where
Going on that, I was gonna say, can anybody do this? Can anybody do this? Because not everybody can cut hair, but
If you have, depending if you have like felonies or like, because essentially you have a government job, you're licensed and employed by the state.
Okay.
Now I have had people that had a felony or a misdemeanor that still get their license. Sometimes it might affect them, or like they have to do deficiencies or more paperwork they have to submit. So it's possible, but depending on how severe it is, that's probably the only thing that would stop someone.
Besides that, I'm saying literally, do you think anybody? Like, let's say that didn't matter. Could you just pick up a guy that works right there? Hey man,
No.
come work. Yeah, so it's not for everybody.
It's absolutely not. It's not for everybody.
So when you have hired, have you ever had to have an interview with someone, and although it came with a good heart recently, because it's only been 2 years, right? Something like that with your company?
Yeah.
I'm guessing from that.
October will be 2 years. I've been
So
here.
it's like, it's been about 2 years. Have you had someone where you're like, maybe it hasn't happened yet, where you're like, not yet, bro. Not you don't say no, be like, not yet.
100%, absolutely. And I would be doing a disservice to that person if I just say, yeah, drop everything, come work with me. I don't do that. If you're like bill to bill, if you have too much overhead, if you got kids and you're literally your 40 hours, like you have no play money, like it's just your work. And because that's the big problem nowadays is a lot of people, they'll live a lifestyle to what they're earning. So there is no surplus, there is no saving. It's like, I have a nice car, but that's exactly what I made this week. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn, you're living too close on the edge. So like, you gotta humble yourself and you gotta start thinking long-term. So yes, there are people that be like, I have no money, I have no time, I have nothing, but I wanna come work with you. It's unfortunate, but I do have to turn them away or just tell them, listen, this is what is expected. This is what we do. If you can work it into what you're doing currently, then let's try. But I refuse to tell somebody to just quit your job, stop everything you're doing and come over here. No. Usually what ends up happening, if I have a really, and this is one of those things, bro, and I posted about it the other day. Everybody wants it. Everybody's hungry. Everybody's gonna be great. And then you ask them, hey, what are you gonna do about it today? Oh, not today, but tomorrow I'm gonna, you already lost me, right? What are you gonna do about it today? What are the actions that you're gonna do to get you to where you wanna be? So usually what'll happen is, and this has happened, people will come work with me, they do detailing, they work a job, 40 hours, 9 to 5, whatever. And then when they're done working, they come straight to my office and they'll work, even if it's 4 hours, 3 hours, they give what they can. And eventually in those 3 to 4 hours a day that they're working, in a span of a week, they will make more than they're working 40 hours a week at their job. Nice. So eventually what'll happen is, and what I tell them is like, and you'll know when you hit that point, when the money you're making here part-time is surpassing what you're making full-time and you have some cushion, that is your signal to take that leap of faith, go full in, and let's really work. And that's usually what happens. I tell them, work your job, and if you really want it as bad as you claim you will do anything in your power to get here.
Like you did. Like you did. Yeah.
So outside looking in, what I'm hearing is you sometimes see people who lack balance.
Yes.
And this is why the office doesn't fail. Because he doesn't let someone that lacks balance, because then if this guy's slippery, then that guy becomes slippery, because that's like contagious.
It could be like balance. It could also be laziness as well, though.
Well, the laziness is part of the lacking balance. Like, you know, like you have a 24 hours in a day, that's about, you break it into threes, that's 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of work, usually 8 hours of family time or personal time. But your 8 hours of personal time really are like 2 hours in the morning if you go, wake up early enough, and then another 6 hours at night. You break them down in traffic and everything you have to drive. So if you're gonna lack anything, it's sleep. But if you have discipline and you're not lazy, you make the most out of your 8 hours. Mo's a perfect example. This guy's somebody that I truly value. I see his discipline, how he's great with his time. He balances his day properly. This is the guy that is like contagious. But there are guys that I know outside of this job and other places that are lazy, that lack that balance, and it's cancerous, bro. It's hurtful. That's why your office is great. Oh, glory be. It's because you know that right now, and outside looking in, you're hiring people that you know are like, yo, this is gonna work in my office. This is gonna work in my office. And now you're picking the flowers you want to grow it. I think that's incredible.
And bro, and then to put it in perspective, although it may not be for everybody, I have people that come from all different fields: realtors, timeshare, mobile detailing, shoe cleaners, serving, carpet cleaners, and as Mo, bro, I'll recruit anybody. The guy he was talking about earlier.
Barbers.
Yeah, barbers.
Hey.
Bro, so when I started doing better for myself, I started shopping at LV, Louis Vuitton and shit like that. And there was this kid, man, I don't know what it was about him. Shout out Javon again. And he was just very charismatic, very like, I'm like, bro, you talk well, you look nice, you're handsome. Like, yo, like, is this everything for you? I didn't even know kid is like 22 years old. I thought he was like 24, 25. And he's seen me come in regularly, and I spend money, and I vibe with him, so I would only go to him. He sent me photos of their inventory, made me cool. I'm like, yo, how would it feel to be like on the other side of the counter? Like, how would it feel to be like, you're coming to shop at your spot? You know what I'm saying? Because everybody likes to buy LV, you know, or something designer. And bro, I told him, follow me on Instagram. Look, just go on my page, see what we do. See what I post about. Go watch my content. If you want to learn more, bro, come through. And he quit his job and he works for me full time right now. He's in PR, celebrating his birthday, living his life off life insurance money.
Wow, that's incredible, bro. And then see that right there is flower, you know, watering your garden, because you walked in, you know, you planted the seed. Obviously, come on, bro. You see a dude coming in like this, big dude, fresh jewelry. You're like all the time. You're like, because it's honest. You know how retail, retail is contagious because they make income. But like you said, like. Oh man, you planted that perfectly,
because
bro.
he said this to me. I asked him because he was like, bro, you gotta understand, there's a lot of guys that come in here and they'll flaunt their shit, they'll spend money with their assholes.
Yeah,
you and your girl walked in and you were the first cool people with money I've ever met. They were saying like you came, like you were being mad joyful, you're cracking jokes, you're asking me about my day, you wanna hang out, you wanna follow me on the gram. Like, why are you doing that? And I'm like, why not? You know what I'm saying? So like that's what he was like. That's why he was skeptical at first, because he thought I was just gonna be some scumbag or some douchebag. But I was like, nah, bro. Like, this is real. Like, I actually care. And that's the other thing. I care about people. I'm a people person. I care, bro. I love every last person that I interview that works for me. I know on a personal level. I know where they came from. I know what they've done. I know what they do. I see how they work, because it's just a different type of bond, and it's special when you know the person personally. Some people would just be like fake shit, like, oh yeah, that's my boy. Yeah, when's his birthday? What did he do before this? What car does he drive? You can't even say it. It's
Where does he live? What's his mom?
You know what I'm saying?
I know.
So like, bro, I really strive to
That's
really
an acquaintance.
get to know my people.
Yeah.
I want to get to, and I want them to get to know me, because if you can't trust me, we can't trust each other. What business do we have?
Friendship, bro.
Yes,
Friendship.
bro. And I'm so open to a fault. Like, I will tell you everything and anything. I don't care about your feelings. Like, I'm gonna tell you what you need to hear. I'm gonna tell you what you need to do.
Always been that way.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the people that just tell you what you want to hear, like, that's not your friend. Bro.
I've had that problem recently where like I think I like, you know, like we have gotten very I've gotten very clear when I speak. I stop saying, oh, I swear, bro, because it's like that's a trait of a liar, and I'm not a liar. So I might call a fat man fat and a bald man bald, and it's, some people don't like that.
I love it.
But it's like,
what it
you
is,
know,
man.
but it's like it's like I'm at that point that I want my circle to be the same way. I want my son to be raised around other good people, you know, where like they come in and it's clear, like we're not sugarcoating nothing. It's very clear. I'm good enough to know when not to speak. Hey, not yet. Let him settle, and then be like, hey, you're fat. You still gotta go to the gym. But I'm not gonna say in a room full of people or pretty women and offend the person.
Of course.
But when the door closes and everybody leaves, you still look fat in that picture, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
That's the concept, bro. You know, and leading to that, it's so hard for me. And I own the shop with David. Shout out David again. We have employees here, bro, and it's so hard for me because it's like, I want everybody to win. But I only have 8 employees. 6 employees. How many employees do you have?
So on my hierarchy, it'll show that I have roughly 220 licensed and appointed agents within my organization. But of those 220, on a consistent writing basis, meaning that these people are actively selling business month after month, fluctuates between like 85 and 100 agents a month.
That's so many people, bro. That's so many people to cater to. Do you ever feel like the pressure to perform, not for yourself, but for them? Because obviously, you know, we know people don't. You have to buy these leads and you have to help these people, and it's a lot more that comes into this equation. Do you ever feel that pressure?
Oh, yeah.
Because you love the people around you, that you want to see them win, and you're constantly trying to, or has it gotten a little bit smoother?
One of the hardest parts for me in this business is learning when to like you can't bring everybody with you. You can't bring everybody with you. I can want the best for you. I can give you the tools. I can give you the resources. I can help you. But if you don't know what to do with it, or you don't do anything with it, I can't force you. I can give you everything you need. I can give you everything that I do. But if you don't do something, if you don't take action, and that's another word I want to capitalize on today, is action. There's a lot of people out there that have great ideas, great intentions, great enthusiasm, but they never take action. And if you don't take action, you will never accomplish, you will never succeed, and you're never gonna do what you wanna do. Just like when you opened up the studio, what did you have to do? You had to take action. You had to do something about it. You probably were skeptical at first. You're probably asking yourself a lot of questions. What if the barbers don't follow me? What if my clients don't follow me? What if I branded too hard over here?
Them nights in bed were like this. My eyes,
I know.
My wife be like, you ain't slept all night, huh? I'd be like, nope.
You talking about Vito?
Double espresso shot on the way to the studio.
So trust me, you understand, more than you probably give yourself your credit for because you've been through it. And I'll answer your question. So my first year, bro, I outsold everybody. I sold more than everybody that was in while building a business. And again, I did that to show people that it can be done, that I'm in this position for a reason, and that this is real. Anybody can do it, right? And then first year in, bro, we did, as a team, we did about $2.87 million in issued paid business, which means in respective, maybe close to about $2.6 million in commissions was paid out amongst like 50 to 60 agents. Wow. First year. This year, right now, we're already at around $3.5 million. Wow. And we're halfway through the year.
Nice.
Wow. So I already crushed my record from last year. That means I'm on pace to double, if not triple, with the amount of momentum and people that I have coming on board right now. My goal for myself is 10 million by the end of the year. That's the number. And like I said, it's gonna happen. And first year here, I made the most money I ever made. I think I grossed about 460K. And I bring this up because when you ask me about how I feel about like scared and investing, about 350,000 of it was invested back into the business.
Wow. Is that somebody told you to do that, or is that something you just?
Nope, that was something that I knew from experience. Once I knew that this was real and it was duplicatable, I knew that if I invested heavily into my agents and I made them a lot of money quickly, they would be happy, they would stick around, and they're gonna tell other people about it.
And it's incredible because, again, back to the math. I love math myself. But when it's an easy equation, that's the best math problem, right?
Right.
And this is very simple. This goes to anything in life. If you do not put it back into your business, if you do not, I don't like using the word frugal because I tell everybody, like you said, like you have to live your life, bro.
Yes.
So to tell someone like, yo, you make this much amount of money, save this much amount of money, only live on 10%, that sounds so blasphemous. It's not even, and in America too. How you gonna tell someone in America to live on 10% of their income? Like, I'm not white, bro, no disrespect to it. You know what I mean? I grew up Puerto Rican. I grew up with flavor. I like to eat good food. I like to dress nice. I like to drive nice cars. It's just the way we're raised, bro.
Yes, bro.
To say that we're gonna live on 10% is, I look at them like, that sounds crazy. Yeah. So, again, back to this. It's the truth. You have to invest back into yourself, bro. If you, in your case, not just into yourself, because this is your company, but into all these people. And if you don't do it, if you don't invest into yourself, bro, and it's like, how do you build from there? You know, how? There's no way.
And also trying to learn from like direct, there's like direct ROI and indirect ROI, return of investment. So like sometimes not everything is gonna be like, sit in my chair, I'm gonna offer you life insurance, close you a deal, getting paid. Indirectly would be like my social media, spending money on a camera guy, spending money on ads, stuff that's not gonna make me a return tomorrow, but it's gonna get me exposure. It's gonna get more eyes on me. It's gonna get more people on me. So now what's that gonna do? It's gonna cause more income. It's gonna generate more business.
Sign of the domino.
So this goes back to like not having that tie with money. You think I wanted to spend, like, bro, I have a tax guy I pay $2,000 a month for. I have a camera guy I spend $2,000 a month for. I have an administrative assistant I pay $5,000 a month for. Like, do you think I was excited to make those expenses? No, but what I knew was that it was gonna benefit my business to make me more. This is gonna be an expense, not even an expense, an investment that's gonna better my business, make it more profitable, churn and burn, get more people in front of me, because again, the objective here is to get in front of as many people as possible. How can I get in front of as many eyes and ears as possible? And it's not just a matter of who do I know, it's who do my circle of influence know? Who does Mo know? Who does that person know? He knows Gabe Davis, who does Gabe Davis know? You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta just always think outside the box. And that's what I struggled with for so long. And now I'm in a position where it's like, I want more. Now that I've touched something, this year, God willing, and I'm super grateful to say this, like I'll gross my first million this year. And I'm in rooms with people that make that in a month, that make that in a couple of weeks. So it's like, you know, like, why not me? Why not me? And that's another thing. And Floyd Mayweather has a video that went crazy, and this one touches home with me, bro. It's like, you be around people that have a nice yacht, that have that Rolex, that have that mansion, and like they'll invite you over, yo, let's party at my crib, let's party at my boat, let's take my cars out. But great, can you teach me how to get a car like this? Can you teach me how to get a yacht like this? Can you teach me how to get a house like this? That's what I'm trying to do. There's so many gatekeepers out there. I don't want to be that. I want to be like, yo, this is everything I've done. Let me show you how I could do it for you. Now, will they do it? That's up to them.
I do gatekeep, but not like, not in the wrong way. I'll tell you exactly. Let me explain. So I like to work on cars. Like, if you know me, I love like slammed cars. Like that's my thing. Bagged cars. I love Japanese cars. But in that scene, you have these people that like to take shortcuts. Yeah. And it's not like, yo, I was under my car for 10 hours. Like, what do I do now? No, it's like, I haven't done anything. How can I like do everything you did in 20 days in the next 6 hours? And it's like, I don't think I'm giving you the information. Do you ever go through that?
Oh, yeah.
You know, where you feel like, in a sense, it's not gatekeeping because you're helping people that
so
want to
I'm
know.
not like that for people in my organization or people that outside of my organization. So like the people in my organization, bro, I give them everything. Like coming to work with me, not for me, with me, is the best thing because I give you everything. Tools, resources, relationships, everything you could possibly need. Now I'm at a point, bro, people send me DMs asking me if I offer mentorship programs. Like, yo, can you teach me how you did it? Can you do that? And now my time is very valuable. And although I don't want to be like this, the reason why I'm not like this with people in my organization, it's an indirect ROI. If I help you, mold you into a better person, you're going to do better in your life and you're going to do better in business, which is going to generate me and my business more income. Indirectly, it's great, it helps me. But if somebody random that is not in my business, that's not sending me business, that has nothing, and they're asking me for my time to give them everything that I know and more, and I don't benefit anything, I unfortunately cannot do that. So some people will offer me money for time, like, I'll pay you $200 an hour or something an hour to just teach me, tell me everything you know, and I will do that because that's my price for my time now. Versus if you were in my organization, I can benefit indirectly, then I'm gonna tell you everything. But yeah, it's just too much. I mean, look how long we've been here. You know what I'm saying? We doubled up on time. So imagine if I told this to every last person that asked me for my advice.
And not everybody, what is it? I forgot what this guy said. It was kind of like everybody wants a piece of the pie, but nobody wants to go pick up their silverware, something like that.
Like I can see that. I can
it's like everybody wants, you know, but then it's like, oh, just you gotta cook the pie yourself. So it's true what you say, bro.
So it's like you want to hit me up, you want to ask how I got here, what I do, what I spend.
They want to get to the end.
They want to know where you're at now. How can I do this? What you doing?
But if you're in my business, bro, I'm gonna teach you how to do what I did in 6 years in a year.
Yeah.
It's like they don't want to sit there for a year though either. They want to do it in 10 weeks. And it's like, nah, that's not how it works. Like you gotta really, that's why you said probably too, the guy earlier with the 50-hour-a-week job and the kids and paychecks, you're like, bro, like this is not gonna work out. You have to really you gotta work for a year. And then after you work for a year, you can take time off and do everything you want.
And you still gotta work, bro. I can give you everything. I can give you the shortcuts. I can teach you everything, but you still have to work. You cannot avoid the work. Too many people avoid the work.
Say it again. Too many
people avoid the work.
Yo, that's the one.
But
right
when you
there.
fall in love, when you fall in love with the journey and the process, and you fall in love with the work, man, it's like, again, I'm quoting a lot of great people today, but Mike Tyson, he says discipline. He says discipline is doing what you hate, but doing it like you love it.
Tough.
I think you dropping too many gems on me, dog. I'm just sitting here like,
I'm so glad
to gatekeep this whole podcast.
We can't even drop this no more.
But this is so
that never came out.
This is so amazing, so great, bro, because I'm literally sharing with y'all what runs through my mind. This is how I operate. This is how I think. This is what I do to make a decision. This is what is in the forefront of my mind. So like when I don't want to do something, I like the gym. It's therapeutic for me. Do you think I want to go 5 days a week? No. And it's when I don't want to do something that I force myself to, because that's exactly when you need to.
Real quick. I don't think you know this though. Did you know he has another office down south?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I wanted to tell him, how did you get to that point? I wanted to get back on that topic. How did you get to that where you knew that you can get another office? Do you want another one? Are you trying to grow like that? Are you trying to go crazy?
Oh yeah, I want to have an office in every state in the country, or at least as many states as I can. And then I want to have properties in everywhere I have an office. But how that happened was, shout out to Carlos Farge. He came in, somebody introduced him to me, and I judged him at first. Chubby kid, shirt
dyed
hair, finger painted black. I'm like, who's this
Bartender.
kid? Bartender. And then, bro, he was another me, and that is very hard to come across. That's very hard. You're a little cheap sometimes, but he's another me. When he came in, he just wanted to be plugged in right away. He's like, let me get on the phone. I'm like, wait, I haven't taught you a script yet. You don't even know what to say yet. I don't care, I'll learn. And we have headphones where when you flick up, it goes mute. So he's sitting by me all day, every day, asking questions. He's like, all right, let me get on the call now. Let me get on the phone now. Takes over my headset. If he had a question where he didn't know the answer to something, he's muting. So he's like, this is the whole conversation, but he's learning. And that was actually some of the first films I took. Or I was trying to get into content, I guess you could say. Tyler's recording a video of me, and he would sell deals, and I'm paying him out cash. I give him like $1,000. I'll throw $1,000 on him. He's like, what? Crazy shit like that. So he's the next me in the sense of like, he's very proactive. He knows what questions to ask. He's very driven. He has a strong mindset, and he wants more, and he wants good business. So he came in when I seen what he had to offer. I was like, this is somebody I need to spend some time on. This is somebody who can really grow here. Came in, killed it, started making a lot of money, and on top of that, he knew a lot of people. She's like, Adrian, I'm literally you, bro. I know a lot of people. Just teach me this, and I can grow this. I promise you I can. And from the moment I met him, he always told me very upfront that he wanted to be down south, Miami or Fort Lauderdale. I asked him why. And he told me because he's very passionate about fashion. If you go to his office, I love it. It's the funniest thing. Him and his top guys, Julian, Gip, Trey, they're like fashionistas, bro. They wear like Rick Owens, like some bell-bottom pants, oversized stuff. Like
it's a fashion show down there.
Fashion show. And it's crazy because I'd be like, I try to match that vibe when I pull up to them when I go out there. But anyways, he's like, yo, bro, I'm gonna move out there. So when he stacked up enough money, and he'll tell you the story too. Maybe I'll bring him on here one day. Because he tells people, he's like, yo, when I met Adrian, I had like $500 to my name.
Wow.
And he's like, he'll give me my flowers and be like, bro, this man really changed my life. In reality, he changed it for himself. I just put him on, but he did the work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he canceled his lease early at Mondrian downtown. Went out there. He pays like $4,500 a month for his apartment in Miami or in Fort Lauderdale. And he's like, bro, this is the vision. This is what I'm going to do. Like, I know a lot of people out here. So I gave him my insight. And the best part about this business is, and what I was telling you guys is, although he's a part of my organization, it benefits me to see him do well. Bro, he's his own show. He has his own office. He has his own rules. He has his own spiffs, his own incentives, his own schedule. He has everything. The only time he really reports to me is if he has questions, insight about business, or maybe he's in a crossroad he hasn't experienced before, and he wants to take my 2 cents from it. But then I'll be like, hey, this is what I would do. This is what I would say, but do what you want. Because like, again, I truly believe people should come up with their own decisions. Yeah. I'll give you my insight, but do whatever you want. And yeah, bro, so he's out there now, packed out his office. I went out there, I recorded a great video for content, blew up, getting a lot of traction out there. Now I'm sending him agents, but yes, now he's in Fort Lauderdale, found his own commercial space, has his own office that he's packing out. He's about to upgrade, hasn't even been there for more than maybe 3-4 months. He's only gonna get a new upgrade.
How many fit there now? Where he's at?
Probably like 35, 30. And he's already packed it out. And plus, that's not including his agents that he left here in Orlando that come work out of my office.
Question. Can you work remote in your company, or do you like people in the office?
Great question. That's one of my favorite questions to answer. You have the ability to do this from anywhere. I have agents in other states. I have an agent in Colorado, I have one in California, I have one in New Jersey, I have one in North Carolina. You can do this from anywhere. But if you have the ability to be in an office, at least in the beginning, it is very detrimental to your success. There are a lot of questions, there are a lot of moving parts, there's a lot of information, there's a lot of stuff you haven't been exposed to, you don't know. And me, I'm too busy. Imagine 200 people calling me 10 times a day to ask me a question. I couldn't do it.
I was just gonna ask him that next.
So in the beginning, I tell people, come in, learn the business, dive in, be exposed, rub shoulders with somebody making 25, 30K a month, pick up on their habits, see what they're doing. But once you know what you're doing, you know this business, you can answer. And then the only time you really call me is for sophisticated questions, then yes, you can do this anywhere.
I think I'm dry here. I have no more questions. He answered everything. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is by far, to me, and I'm sure we have a lot of amazing podcasts to come with other conversations, but I've rarely ever had a conversation with someone about money that actually intrigued me. No offense to my clients. I think it's your persona. You know, no, because I mean, I cut a lot of clients that are millionaires too. You call this guy cuts mad football players that are millionaires in the league, but sometimes their conversations are. It's just they lack motivation in their or drive in certain conversations. So it's like I don't want to like make it about income, but in your case, like bro, you have this persona that just swallows up a room in a good way. No diddy, you know what I'm saying? It's like.
It's funny because since you bring it up with the whole cutting football players, I've cut plenty millionaires, famous people, all that, right? And it's way different yesterday being at the mall with him. I've been at the mall with football players with a rapper before, you know. Being there with somebody you grew up with, you know, that got this cheese now and got this status now. I was telling him yesterday, it was just so funny. We had the best time of our life yesterday, bro. It was like, I felt like a kid. I felt like going down the escalator, like on the thing. Like, just, it was so fun, bro. And it's just different. I was just in awe yesterday, man, of seeing somebody, like you said, these football players, they were supposed to have that money this whole time. You know, like you knew they were going to the NFL, most of these guys. You knew that they were going to get that, or you knew that that's just what they've already had since I met them, you know? So seeing somebody come from the bottom, you know what I'm saying, and seeing where he's at now, man, it's the most beautiful thing I've seen, bro.
Appreciate that, man.
It's so crazy. And to still be the same fucking person, bro, it's crazy.
I think that's what it is, too.
And I'll leave off on this, too. Like, there's two things I really want to touch up on. One, I'll leave off with, which is about the opportunity for anybody who might be watching who think, like, maybe it might be a fit for them, you know, and I'll share a couple words for them. But I think one of the hardest things for me, and one of my biggest pet peeves is when I'm dealing with some people that I have to learn that everybody's not like me. Bro, when I tell you I have a drive and a sense of like determination, a lot of people don't. So like when people tell me their excuses or why they can't, that really bugs me. Because I know people that work 3-4 jobs with kids and they're making it happen.
Well, this guy right now is telling me this, and in my mind already, I'm off Mondays. I gave you 9 to 5 there. I said my son goes to sleep at 8:45. I'm already available from 9 to 11. I make the drive over there. Like I'm in my mind, I'm already thinking about every possible time where I could work. I'm just like, you got me sold, bro. Keep on, man.
No, but I see people, bro, and like it really touches home when I find somebody like me and they come to me and they have my same energy. They're looking me in my face and they don't even know me, and they're like, bro, I want to come work with you. Like, teach me how to do it, please, teach me. And I'm like, what are you willing to do? I'll work anything. Tell me what time you want me to be here. Tell me what time I can leave. I won't piss unless you tell me I can. You know what I'm saying? Like those people, that's what I cherish right there. Those people that are willing to work, that don't stray away from work. They go into work. You know what I'm saying? That gets me going. That's somebody I like to invest in. I'll spend endless amount of money on that person because I know I'll make it back. You just need the right guidance. So that's one thing I gotta learn, is that not everybody's like that as much as I want them to be. But it sucks, and my agents will beat me up all the time. Charlie, I know you're one of them. Is like, I hear so much talk so often. Yo, Adrian, I'm gonna be a killer. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make $1 million. I'm gonna bring this person. I'm like, bro, my response every time, like, bro, I'm happy for you. Sounds good. Sounds nice.
And they never show up.
Maybe it isn't. Maybe they do or they don't. But I always tell people when they hate. I'd be like, it sounds really good. Sounds really nice.
This is truth. You gotta commit now.
But like,
you know?
I've been let down so much. I've been given so many false promises. I've been told and nothing is ever delivered. So like, I've learned not to get too excited about things or get over, because like most people don't see it through. Now, if it's something that I'm gonna say I'm gonna do, I get excited because I know damn well I'm gonna make it happen. But when somebody else tells me, it's kind of like,
but that's your mindset of that you say you gotta take action, because it's like, yeah, it sounds good, and that's a great answer. It sounds good, and I'm gonna give you time to take action, and when you take action, we'll see.
Exactly.
But it's like,
exactly. But before that, it's just like,
bro. Hey, shout out Mo right here. I don't. This is kind of personal. I done seen Mo lose like 100-something pounds.
Yo, shout out my boy Mo. Bro.
You heard? And I gotta go ahead and say this.
Bro.
I gotta say this.
Yo, he was sending me photos of him.
I'm just saying, this guy took his shirt off in the shop, and ever since I seen that, I've been running in my house. I looked at him, I was like, I gotta run. I got a treadmill. I cleaned it up, took everything off, and started running. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, you could say I'm gonna do this. If you don't take action, everybody gotta take action on whatever you say. And when you take action, then I'll pay attention. And then as I pay attention, I see growth. And then as I see growth, I'm like, oh my God, this guy did it. But what am I gonna say? Yeah, I know you're gonna do it. No, I don't know you're gonna, I'll be lying. I don't know you're gonna do it. I know you're saying it. Like you said, it sounds good.
Sound good, brother.
You sound good. Stuff I knew. Sound good, bro.
And I'll let y'all guys ask me any other question or however y'all want to wrap it up. But the last thing I want to say for anybody watching or anybody that wants to grasp anything from this is like,
right here, this is right here. Go ahead.
If you're thinking about trying something new, if you're skeptical, if maybe you've been on the fence about something, I'm telling you now to take that leap of faith and at least try. Do not put yourself in a situation or somewhere where it's going to do harm or that's going to put you in a bad spot. Do so responsibly. But if you know that you're in the position or have the ability to take a leap of faith and try something with this one life that you were given, I encourage you to try it. Don't live in regret. Don't look back and say, I wish I would have done this. Imagine if I tried that. What if I got in shape? What if I took that job? What if I worked on that car? Man, we have one life, right? I'm not saying spend every last dollar. I'm not saying be irresponsible, but like tomorrow is not promised. I might not make it home today. God willing, I will. But it's like some people will work so hard for so many years to save and to maybe have enough for one thing, but they never lived. They never enjoyed it. And I don't want to be 40 and 50 enjoying what I can enjoy when I'm 40 and 50. I want to enjoy what I can now. So I encourage you all to do that. Do your research. And man, I hope the best, and I want to see you all win. That's for sure.
Man, bro. That's
also, if you need insurance, hit him up too.
Yeah, if you need insurance, hit my boy up, man.
Yeah, this is beautiful, man.
Go ahead, wrap it up, man. Go do the closure right
there,
guys.
Man. We really
sit up and do the closure, man. Go ahead.
We really appreciate you guys tuning in. Episode 3, very eye-opening episode for all of us. I'm sure even the guys behind the cameras. So proud of you, man. If I have to give you flowers before we end this, I'd probably give you flowers every time I see you, Also, he forgot to put me, I'm on payroll too. He forgot. He's not just the camera guy, now he got his barber on there too. Don't forget that.
Absolutely.
But seriously, man, it's so eye-opening seeing what you're doing. I'm one of those people that tells him all the time, like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, bro, I'm gonna join. Yeah, bro, yeah. So he's talking shit about me without talking shit about me.
Don't worry, this time I'm behind him.
But I always tell him, if you sat down with Adrian, we'd be going. I always tell him that. I always
it looks
say
like
that.
we're going. Hey, with that said, shout out Popular by Purpose. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Man, if you made it all the way to the end, I know you're gonna make that phone call to Adrian's office. Go and make that phone call, man.
Plenty of gems, man. Love you, bro.
Adrian, my brother.
I love you, boys.
My dog. 2 hours?
That's crazy.
If you make it to the end of this episode, bro, I'm telling you right now, you make it to the end.
You know what's funny? I watched 2 hour long
Hey, if you can show us proof you're into the end, we'll give you a free haircut and I'll give you a free quote for life insurance.
Let's go. Free quote, man. Yo.